On the clock.
Let's go, everybody. Welcome in to the second annual PVF Draft for their second season. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick, joined by three-time Olympian Holly McPeak, and we are going to be with you throughout the entirety of the draft here today. We're pumped. If you're not pumped, you better get there because we're excited. I'm going to go over kind of the rules really quickly with the draft. There's going to be 5 rounds and 40 players will be selected. The first 2 rounds, teams will have up to 8 minutes, and then the rest of the rounds, teams will have up to 5.
In the draft order, first round, we have Indy Ignite with the first pick, followed by Atlanta Vibe. Orlando will be third, Vegas Thrill fourth, San Diego Mojo fifth, Atlanta Vibe, Grand Rapids Rise, and then Omaha. That's the first round.
And without further ado, we're going to get this thing started, and we're going to send it to our CEO, Jen Spiker.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2024 Pro Volleyball Federation Draft. We are streaming live at the league level today from Columbus, Ohio, and our teams are joining us from around the country and their respective markets. So let's invite them in. First, the Atlanta Vibe and head coach Kayla Banworth, live from 680 The Fan at The Battery in Cobb County. The Columbus Fury and head coach Angel Perez and team captain Megan Courtney Lush, live from Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. The Indy Ignite and head coach George Pageant, live from Fishers, Indiana. The Grand Rapids Rise and head coach Kathy George, live from DP Fox Studios in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Omaha Supernovas and head coach Laura Bird Kuhn, live from Herdat Sports Grill in La Vista, Nebraska. The Orlando Valkyries and head coach Amy Pauley from Addition Financial Arena in Orlando, Florida. The San Diego Mojo and head coach Taiba Hanif Park, downtown San Diego, California. And last but certainly not least, the Vegas Thrill and the general manager Fran Flory from the Thrills practice facility in Henderson, Nevada.
Stand by here still, and we're fun.
And without further ado, with the first pick in the first round of the 2024 Pro Volleyball Federation Draft, Indy Ignite is on the clock.
All right, well, Indy is on the clock. Indy is the newest team to the Pro Volleyball Federation. We've got a stacked list of teams here today, and Indy is the newest, so we're really excited to see who they go with for the first pick. Coach told us that Indy is a sports city, and Indy is really excited to welcome this team to their city.
What an incredible opportunity to have the first pick in the draft, but with it comes a lot of pressure. So trying to decide who to pick first. They're strong at the setting position, but what position do they want to fill first?
They want to fill a terminal outside. They want a 6 rotation outside, so I think that's the direction that they're going to go with the first round. We've got some players that we could throw out that maybe they'll go with. Anna DeBeer, an absolute stud at Louisville.
And Nora Sis from Creighton, who's had an incredible career, and she's been at the top of a lot of these teams' lists.
Yeah, she absolutely has. Both of those players have been just at the top of all of these lists. But they're so talented. They're 6 rotations. They lead their teams, and they lead their teams at the top of the country. So they're in really hard conferences, and they score at a really high production level.
And you want somebody who knows how to win. You want somebody to bring that energy, those kind of expectations. This is pro volleyball. You need a player who knows how to win and who wants to work hard for that.
And let's talk about the positions that he feels like they are good in. They kind of built this Indy Ignite team around setter Sydney Healy.
Sydney Healy is special, and we knew that they wanted to base their team around her. And they also asked, hey, who do you want to play with? Like, let's build players around you that you know want to compete, want to work hard, want to continue to improve at this level.
Coach George Pageon is the coach of this team, and he said he had a relationship early on with Sydney Healy. He did private lessons for her at 14, so he knew that she was a player that wanted to come in every single day and grind. And he said early on, even at 14, she was that player that would come into practice, and if he would say, hey, just move your hands an inch to the left where you take the ball, she would do it immediately. So she's coachable, and she's worth building a team around. Also, she was the MVP of last year's Omaha championship team in the postseason. So she has proven time and time again that she's a winner.
And this is a team who's added some pretty great players. Lecator member Mena, who was on Atlanta last year, impressive. Grace Cleveland on the opposite, Ajani Teeler, another opposite. They've got strength in the middle with Blake Moeller and Chiamaka Wokolo. And then, like I said, Kylie Murr, the Libero, someone who wants to be great, someone who knows how to win, and Madison Schermerhorn as well from Purdue. So a very talented team, and they're going to have the opportunity to add some firepower.
And he said that he wants his team to embody grinders and being gritty. So he went around and asked the existing roster who you think you want to grind by, who you want to get in the trenches with. And so he kind of allowed his current players to sway his decision making. And I think that was a really smart idea. I mean, a team, you have to be bonded, you have to mesh. And so that's a good approach to take, I think.
As of all.
And maybe not.
Well, we heard rumors of a trade. We heard rumors,
Mm-hmm.
but now things are coming to fruition. Let's see.
Yeah, live TV.
You wanted excitement. Here it is. The Indy Ignite has traded the first pick in round 1 to the Atlanta Vibe. Indy will now receive the second selection in round 1 and the first selection in round 2. Indy has also awarded the Atlanta Vibe their 3rd round pick in the 2025 draft. The Atlanta Vibe is on the clock. Announcing the first pick will be team owner Colleen Craig.
All right, Atlanta Vibe, you are on the clock. Exciting. We wanted this. Let's go ahead and talk about Atlanta Vibe.
Well, we talked about Atlanta Vibe. They were the team to beat last year. Incredible season. They had like 11 days off before the semifinals and finals, and maybe that slowed their rhythm getting into their best volleyball at the end of the year, but they are loaded with talent. And they've got, well, they had 3 of the top 9 picks. Things have changed, but they obviously have somebody that they want to go after if they're trading for that top pick.
And this is really big for them because their team is already stacked. They have one of the most stacked teams in the league so far, and they built their team around Leah Edmond, Morgan Hentz, Marley Monserrat, who everybody loves, and Shelly Fanning. So you've got a stud outside, a stud setter, a stud libero who's a 3-time national champion at Stanford, on the USA national team, and Shelly Fanning. So, I mean, it's only up from here.
But they told us they were looking for a dominant opposite, somebody who could score consistently on the right, put up a big block. They told us some names that they're looking at, possibly Merritt Beason, who's been fantastic all season long, her entire career, but at Nebraska doing wonderful things. Reagan Rutherford, who's now at Texas, Nia Shimei at SMU, Cameron Hanna at Penn State, just to name a few, because the list is long of very talented opposites in the college game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Merritt Beason should definitely be at the top of everybody's list. 6'4", All-American, one of those players that just has the ability to take over a match, and she has done that time and time again. Last year, she was the Lincoln Regional Most Valuable Player in 2023. So time and time again, she proves that she's one of the top in the league and in the country.
And let's see if that's really what's going to happen. But Merritt Beason leads her team. Nebraska is one of the top teams to beat them in Pitt right now. And she knows how to lead a very young group. They were almost all freshmen last year. So she's not afraid to take that leadership role. She's not afraid to work hard. She's the type of player I could see Atlanta taking.
And let's go ahead and talk about their new head coach. Kayla Banworth was the libero for Nebraska. Then now she's an Olympian, and she said she wants to train players who want to be Olympians. So she feels like she can relate to them in this way.
You have to get to the next level, the pro level, and be ready to compete and ready to work hard. You haven't reached the top of your game. You want to continue to work and improve, so you need that work ethic.
And we asked her what the energy was like moving into this year. She said it's all they talk about was the way that last year ended. Oh, and the pig is in. Let's go ahead and find out who it is.
With the first pick in the first round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Atlanta Vibe selects Merritt Beason from the University of Nebraska.
Well,
Amazing.
I called it. Merritt Beason.
Pretty easy choice. She's one of the very, very best. Class act.
And now with that, thank you, Atlanta. Congratulations, Merritt Beason, on being the #1 pick in the 2024 draft. We're really excited for you. I think that she's going to provide, a lot of balance to this team. We already talked about how stacked their offense is. And let's take a look at her reaction.
Hi guys, I think we're live.
Oh, hi, Merritt. Congratulations. What is your feeling around joining this already stacked team?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Obviously, that program and that team is loaded with a lot of really good players. And so I'm really excited just to come in and compete day in and day out. And I'm super excited to be able to play with my freshman setter, Marley Mondre, again. So I'm super excited.
You guys played together at Florida, now at Nebraska. Looks like you had some of your teammates there to support you in this big moment, so congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Merritt. All right, we will now move on with our next pick, and I believe that's going to be the Indy Ignite.
Indy Ignite.
With the second pick in the first round, the Indy Ignite is now on the clock. And announcing the pick will be the mayor of Fishers, Indiana, Scott Fadden.
All right, Indy Ignite is now on the clock, and they weren't going to go for an opposite. At least that's what we're under the assumption, that they weren't going to go for an opposite right out of the gates. So they're still probably looking at those outside positions in Anna DeBeer, Nora Sis, maybe a couple others in there.
Yeah, you need someone who can pass the ball and somebody who can be terminal, especially at this level. The college level is very good. The level continues to improve, but at the pro level, bigger, more physical blocks. You don't have weak blockers to attack, so you need to have a well-rounded game, and that's what Indy Ignite wants to start with. At least that's what they told us this week. And they did talk about Anna DeBeer, Nora Sis, so many good left side players in this country.
Let's go ahead and go over their current rosters just so you all can get a gist of where they are. They've got Grace Cleveland, an opposite, 6'3". She played at Purdue. Gabby Gonzalez, an outside hitter, 6'2". Anise Havili, a setter, 5'10". Sydney Hilly, setter, 6 foot. Lekator Member Mene, outside hitter, 5'7", really, really fun, undersized outside hitter attacker. Blake Moeller, middle blocker, 6'2". Kylie Murr, who's a libero. Chiamaka Wokulo, middle blocker. She played at Pitt, well-known player at Pitt. Madison Schimmerhorn, a libero, 5'10", played at Purdue. Carly Scott, who came from the Orlando Valkyries. Outside hitters, 6'1", Michigan and Pepperdine. Really solid all-around the board player. And Ajani Teeler, who also came from the Orlando Valkyries, an opposite 5'10". And with that, we've got the pick in for Indy Ignite.
Great. With the second pick in the first round of the 2024 Professional Volleyball Federation Draft, the Indy Ignite select Anna DeBeer from the University of Louisville. Yeah!
High fives all around, and rightly so. Anna DeBeer has one of the best game faces in the country. She's one of the best outsides in the country. That's a huge get for this newest team of the PVF.
Anna DeBeer is elite. She's a great competitor. She's been the face of Louisville volleyball for the last 4 or 5 years, and she is going to be an incredible addition to this Indy Ignite team.
And Anna DeBeer has a wicked fast arm, 308 kills so far on this season, 231 digs. She was the ACC Freshman of the Year her freshman year and ACC Co-Player of the Year last year.
Yeah, I think Indy Ignite is lucky to have a player like her. She is explosive, but when it's crunch time, she shows up in a big way.
Yeah, and just look at how high she gets every single time she contacts the ball. She likes to run a quick set, a little tempo set. She beats the block a lot of the times. And I think now we are going to be joined by Anna DeBeer. Let's see. Anna, welcome. Honestly, no reason to cut those highlights short because she is just that impressive. Her blocking is impressive. Her hitting is impressive. Her defense is impressive. She's really good at serve receive. She's got a nice aggressive serve, and she is the newest player for the newest team.
Really exciting. I've loved watching Anna DeBeer.
All right, Jen.
With the third pick in the first round, the Orlando Valkyries are on the clock. Announcing Orlando's picks today will be head coach Amy Pauley.
All right, the Orlando Valkyries are now on the clock. Orlando is stacked coming into this draft, and a really impressive area of their current roster is how many played for Athletes Unlimited and did well in Athletes Unlimited. They've got a solid core group coming back from that successful Athletes Unlimited season.
Brittany Abercrombie, to name the champ. She was unbelievable. She's been playing overseas in Korea, but now gets to play in her home country in the U.S. She's been phenomenal. She played on a men's net all summer long, and she's been really attacking at a high clip, and that's what made her so good at Athletes Unlimited. So she's coming into this season with a ton of confidence, and she looks to really help this Orlando team reach new heights.
And let's go ahead and talk about where we think they might go with this first pick. Coach Amy Pauley said middles are available second round, she thinks, so they're going to go for the best available outside most likely.
Well, we have to cross off a couple names. Nora Sis still on there. And obviously, I mean, we can go down the list. We know who they mentioned, but there's players like Allie Batenhorst. There's Maya Tabrone from SMU. So many good left sides across the country, and that's what Orlando wants to focus on. Exactly.
Nora Sis from Creighton is a large part of their 11 straight Big East titles. She's at the top of the Big East in kills, hitting efficiency, and points. So she's had a really successful season at Creighton. I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route. She's hitting 366 as a pin attacker. That's so amazing.
Incredible. And I'm just looking at my list of different players that they can look at. Raina Terry, Melanie Parra. There's so much talent on the left side, but they have some specific people in mind that they're looking at, and I'm looking forward to see who they pick.
Yeah, they've got a really solid group of returners. They finished last season 8-16. They started really strong, and then it was just a couple misses here and there, but they got their libero back in Georgia Murphy. They got a really solid setter coming in Pornpun Goodpart, known as Champu. And they returned Adora Anai, a solid outside. Kaz Brown in the middle, who won MVP of that middle position in the first year of the PVF.
And don't forget Hannah Hukas from Oregon, one of my favorite setters coming out of college.
Ooh, I'm excited. I think we are probably getting near to the official pick. Let's see.
With the third pick in the first round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Orlando Valkyries select outside hitter Nora Sis from Creighton University.
Wonderful. Pick 4 in the first round. Vegas Thrill, you are on the clock. Announcing the pick will be the president of the Vegas Thrill, Ruben Herrera.
Congratulations, Nora Sis, on the second overall pick in the PVF draft. Now, Vegas Thrill, you're on the clock, but let's go ahead and talk about Nora Sis a little bit. She joins a stacked group of outsides for the Valkyries.
Nora Sis has had a fantastic career at Creighton. We talked about it, one of the best teams in the country. They could be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, but she's got an all-around game, and she's really going to help them.
Yeah, she's really fun to watch. And with all of that success and all of that experience, the Valkyries are coming back into this season with a lot of experience. So she's going to add, I think, really well and gel really well with that team.
One of the things I think was learned by a lot of these pro teams is that these players coming off their college season, they're a little bit tired. So you want depth at all those positions to give those players a little bit of a rest and have them be able to train up with the other pros. But a little rest before starting that next season will be helpful. And that's why depth is so important.
Now let's move on to Vegas Thrill. But before we do that, let's watch some highlights from Nora Sis. Why don't we? She is so impressive. She has such a high reach. She accumulated so many points this year for her team. First in Big East in points. And she can hit from the outside. She can hit from the back row. She can pretty much hit from anywhere.
Yeah, you want a player who can attack from the service line, attack out of the back row. You want someone who can score points for your team. And it's so important, especially at this pro level, because everybody's good. You're going to have a big block, people bombing their serves. You've got to be able to play every play on the court, every part of the court.
Let's go ahead and move to Vegas and an area that we think they might go. I think they might go for the outsides, but we will see. The pick is in.
Hey! Okay, so when Ruben is up here, I need you all to make the most noise possible, okay? Okay, perfect.
And it's a hard decision. The pick is not in yet, so we are back. Let's go through some outsides that maybe Vegas might go for. Anna DeBeer, taken. Raina Terry. I mean, it's such an impressive athlete at Illinois. Maybe they'll go that route.
Melanie Parra at TCU leads the country in kills per set. She's been putting incredible numbers. Allie Batenhorst, who started at Nebraska, now at USC, playing 6 rotations, has really been playing a high level of volleyball and doing a better job at 6 rotations. So that's what these pro teams want to see.
And for Raina Terry, let's go ahead and talk about some of her numbers because they are just that impressive. So far on the season for Illinois, 456 kills, 547 points, which is leading the Big Ten. And we know how impressive the Big Ten is. I mean, that is such an amazing feat.
When you're putting up those kind of numbers against the best teams in the country, that means you can do it at the next level as well. And a lot of these teams saw that in her.
And she's had double-digit kills in all but one match this season. I mean, that's not just elite. That's elite for an extended amount of time. And that's really difficult to do. That means you're on every single game. And with PVF coming up so soon and the season so soon, you kind of want a player that can consistently be on.
And for this team, we talked to the coach and they were looking at outside because they're strong in the middle. Mm-hmm. They've got Berkeley Oblad and Lane Buzzkirk, and then they've got Alicia Glass, who's an Olympian setting the offense. So they wanted to build around those, and that's why they need the strength on the pins.
Yep, and they said Alicia Glass-Childers is kind of the centerpiece, and she's such an incredible person and athlete. I think that's a great person to center your team around. Berkeley and Maddox, Coach Fran Flory told us was very important to them. So these three, they kind of wanted to build their team around. Adding Willow Johnson, huge get at the opposite position. She's going to be a big scorer for them as well.
Yeah, Willow Johnson is dangerous. She can dominate a match on the right side, and to have her the entire season is going to be huge. They also want to strengthen their Libero position because they might have an injury there, but looking to just strengthen all their pieces.
When we talked to Coach Fran Flory about the league growth, I asked her what her favorite part was last season, and she said it was actually before the season started at their Select-A-Seat open house. She walked onto the floor. It was decorated in the Vegas Thrill flooring, and she said she looked around and she had to excuse herself. She needed to leave, go shed a tear, because, I mean, this is just a historic win for volleyball and volleyball players around the world and coaches and the sport of volleyball. So I get shedding a tear because of that.
Yes, goosebumps moment to play professional volleyball in your own country at this level in front of these types of crowds. It's been incredible. You and I both got to cover it last season. It blew my mind, way better than any expectations I had. And one of the incredible things about Las Vegas, they play in the Henderson, Vegas area, and Fran Flory will be walking around town or at the grocery store. People stop her wherever she goes. So it's an incredible volleyball community, and it's a great place to really grow this sport.
I absolutely love that. And, you know, last year Vegas was the last team to be able to put a team together. They only had 60 days to put a team together and then get going. So Fran said it's different this year. They've got time, they've been able to plan, and they're excited about the positive pace that this team is going on this year.
I think anytime you're in a first year, all the teams learned a lot. They learned what they need, how to manage the schedule. They learned so much. So the second year, all these teams go in with a better plan of how to bolster each position and go confidently into the season. And they get to start training camp December 2nd for those who are on the team.
And the pick is in, highly anticipated. Let's see who it is.
Let's give it up for Ruben Herrera.
I feel goofy with these headsets on, but with the fourth pick in the first round, we're super excited. PVF Draft, Vegas Thrill, select Cameron Hanna from Penn State, outside hitter.
With the fifth pick in the first round, the San Diego Mojo, you're on the clock. Announcing the pick will be Gary Jacobs, owner of the San Diego Mojo.
Congratulations, Cameron Hanna, outside, right side, could play both, 6'2" grad student from Penn State. Congratulations to you.
Cameron Hanna is so talented, and yes, versatility, can play either pin, can play 6 rotations, so that's a player who's going to help any team.
She earned 1 ABCA Honorable Mention All-American honor. She's been at the top of her game for a very long time. She's helped out this Penn State team, who's at the top of the country throughout the years, and really impressive career by her. Let's go ahead and move on to San Diego Mojo because they are on the clock. Who do you think that San Diego Mojo, what position do you think San Diego Mojo is going to go with first?
Well, we talked to Taiba Hanif Park, and she said, look, we need to start with an opposite. Building their team around Kendra Dahlke, who had a fantastic first year, Shara Venegas, the Libero, and then Ronica Stone, the dynamic middle out of Oregon. So they're looking for opposite. They really like Devin Robinson out of Wisconsin, who can play middle or opposite. Reagan Rutherford from Texas. Emily Londot, we haven't even talked about her, on the opposite, big arm, big score. She has 16 double-doubles on the season for her team. I mean, that is a crazy stat.
Emily Londot, I think, will definitely get picked up. She is insane. She produces at such a high level. First in double-doubles in the Big Ten, and the pick is in. That was a quick one. Let's see.
With the fifth pick in the first round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the San Diego Mojo select Devin Robinson from the University of Wisconsin.
With pick 6 in round 1, the Atlanta Vibe is on the clock. Announcing the pick is head coach Kayla Banworth.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Devin Robinson, middle blocker, opposite for Wisconsin.
Well, Wisconsin ran a 6.2 the last couple of years. That's when she was an opposite, but now she's splitting her time with Cece Crawford in the middle at Wisconsin, and she's been putting up incredible numbers. Quick laterally, big arm, can score. Another player who brings versatility to her team.
2020 and 2022 ABCA third team All-American, 169 kills on the season, hitting .354, well over 1,000 career kills. Selected team captain in 2024, so a solid leader for them as well. A really talented and tall Wisconsin team, so that is a great get for San Diego Mojo.
Definitely.
All right, and with that, we are going to go ahead and move back to Atlanta, who is on the clock. Holly, what positions are we feeling like they might go for now?
Atlanta told us they were looking for an M1, a player who can go off 1 foot, a dominant middle, and there's plenty. We've got Corey Lewis out of Florida State, Cece Crawford out of Wisconsin, one of my favorite middles to watch. Taylor Trammell has been fantastic all season long, and Raven Colvin out of Purdue.
Stand by. We've lost our talent. We'll bring him back up.
Welcome back to the PVF Draft. Our apologies for the lost feed, but we are back and Atlanta is still on the clock. Where we left you, we think Atlanta may go for another middle. That maybe is the direction that they want to go with their second pick, but they have 2 picks in the first round. I mean, how much of an advantage is that?
Well, I think that's why they made that trade. And those are the kind of moves that you want to take a gamble on. If you need a player or want a player in a certain position, take a gamble, and Atlanta has not been afraid to do that. I've been really impressed with that.
Atlanta is going to have 3 picks before some teams even get 2. So just the opportunity to go out, grab a top M1, grab a top outside, grab a top opposite, grab whoever you want is really amazing. And we already talked about it. They have such a stacked roster going into this season. But back to the middles, they could go with a Cece Crawford, a Taylor Trammell, who's been just so impressive throughout this season for Penn State. She played at Purdue. She's 6'2", hitting .453 on the season. Talk about efficiency. Right now, she's got 203 kills, 102 blocks. She gets on the ball really quickly. She's such a weapon up there.
Well, middles. We haven't seen a middle go. I'm looking down our list. So this will be the first middle to go, if that's what they go with. And we've got a lot of talent, very talented group, but it's small. We hear the pick is in.
Volume on YouTube.
With the 6th pick
in the first round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Atlanta Vibe select Corey Lewis from Florida State University.
With the 7th pick in round 1, the Grand Rapids Rise is on the clock. Announcing the pick will be Cole DeVos, owner of the Grand Rapids Rise.
Let's go, Corey Lewis. I'm a Florida State Seminole, and I get to call a lot of their games, and I am so incredibly happy and proud of her. Her ceiling is so high. She hasn't even reached her potential yet, which is incredible because she's having a standout season, just getting better and better every single year. I know in PVF, she's going to absolutely thrive.
Florida State runs their offense through the middle because she's that good. She can dominate a match. Obviously, your team has to pass in order to run that middle, but if you can get her the ball, she can put points on the board for you.
Let's take a look at Corey Lewis here. One of the most impressive things about her is how high she contacts the ball and then the angles that she's able to hit because of how high she contacts the ball. They run her on the gap set a lot. They can run her behind the setter. She's really good both ways. And you're right, they run a majority of their offense through her. And I always say this, if you get a 3-pass, if you're in system, run through Corey Lewis because she can put that ball away and she's very steady. She's not loud. She's more poised, calm, and collected. So I think that is going to be really good for the Atlanta Vibe, who has a lot of really big personalities.
And firepower on the pin. So you want firepower in the middle. And Corey Lewis presents depth. We've got tons of experience on the roster for Atlanta, but now they've got firepower and youth in the middle.
Let's go ahead and turn our attention to Grand Rapids Rise. For the first round, we think they might go for a middle, an opposite, or best available, is what Coach Kathy George told us. She said, who is the best player in the draft that's on the table? We are in the lower of the first round, so really we have to be ready to react based on what is picked in front of us. Grand Rapids Rise making it to the finals last season, but got swept by Atlanta. But they got swept by Omaha, but they got upset Atlanta in the semi. So really impressive postseason run by them.
Yes, Grand Rapids made a really nice push in the postseason. So that was impressive. I'm crossing off names on the list. We talked to Kathy George and she mentioned some names. No Merritt Beason, no Devin Robinson, but there's so much talent. Naya Shimei from SMU. And then Raina Terry as well can play either pin.
And we hear the pick is in. Let's see who Grand Rapids Rise goes with for their first pick.
With the 7th pick in the first round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Grand Rapids Rise select Raven Colvin from Purdue.
With the final pick in round 1, the Omaha Supernovas are on the clock. Announcing the Omaha picks for today will be head coach Laura Bird-Kuhn.
Raven Colvin has been at the top of every single team's list, and there's no question why. 6'1", leading the Big Ten in blocks at 160 this season alone.
I just watched Raven Colvin 2 days ago against USC, and her performance helped them beat a very talented USC team. You cannot stop her. Put 2 blocks in front of her, it does not matter. High clip, very dangerous offensively, but on both sides of the ball, she's very effective.
Hitting .348 on the season with 255 kills. She carries a large load for this team. Let's check out some of her highlights. Why don't we? She moves really fast side to side, so she's able to get there and close the block. And then you can run her in front, behind. With that quick arm swing, she's really hard to block.
Raven Colvin at the pro level will be fun to watch. Look at that high contact point, block in front of her, but still able to beat it and clean things up in transition. Love her on the gap set. And then very good off one foot as well. We've had 2 middles go back to back.
Yeah, I absolutely love that pick for the Rise. And if you give her one blocker, she's really good at identifying the hands of that blocker. And she's really wristy. She's going to swing away, and score at a really high clip. Let's go ahead and move on to the Omaha Supernovas. Coach Bird said they feel very confident in the depth of their middles, but they want a solid M1 coming out of college. And outsides, they've got a really good group of outsides in Brooke and Reagan.
I thought Omaha wanted an opposite. Didn't we talk about that?
Oh, no. But later in the draft, they're going to go with an M1. But you're right. Coming out of the gates, probably going to go for an opposite. We've seen Merritt Beeson go.
We have Lydia Grote, who plays for Minnesota on the right side, has been really good all season long. They've had injuries on the left pin. She has stepped up and scored when Minnesota has needed them. And her sisters in the league as well in Pro Volleyball Federation. Jordan Iliff out of Missouri is another player they're looking at, as well as Sofia Maldonado Diaz out of Louisville, who's had a really good season, especially second half of the season. She's come on strong for Louisville.
Yep, she led Arizona, and then this last season at Louisville has been a major contributor. I would be remiss if I didn't mention again, Omaha was the 2023-2024 PVF champion in their first year. They won the $1 million prize. It was so much fun. They won in a sweep, and congratulations to them again. They're returning a stacked group of players. Let's go ahead and learn who's on their roster currently. We've got Natalia Valentin Anderson, a setter. Brooke Nunaviller, stud outside. Reagan Cooper, coming from Columbus, she won PVF Rising Star of the Year last year. Mac Pedraza, Camila Gomez, Kelsey Payne, Brianna Holman, Sophie Davis, Allison Whitman, and a couple more, but the pick is up, so let's get to it.
All right. With the 8th pick in the first round of the 2024 PVF draft, the Omaha Supernovas select Toyasi Anabanjo from the Kansas University.
All right, that completes round 1. We're beginning round 2 now. And via the trade earlier today, pick 1 for round 2 is the Indy Ignite. The Indy Ignite is on the clock, and announcing the picks will be Coach George Pageant.
Congratulations to Onabanjo, middle blocker at Kansas. Over 200 kills on the season so far, hitting over 400. I like that pick for them. She's second in the Big 12 in hitting efficiency.
A little bit of a surprise there. They didn't know if they were going to go opposite or middle, but I think middles are going fast, so teams starting to maybe shift their order. Toyasu Anabanjo has her team 22-3 and one of the favorites in the NCAA tournament.
101 blocks on the season, 4th in the Big 12 in blocks per set. She's really physical. She's really fast. She joins a solid group of middles over there at Omaha. So I love that pick from them. Let's take a look a little bit on her resume. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and move to Indy Ignite with their 2nd pick, round 2. Where do you think they're going to go, Holly?
Well, according to our talk this week, they wanted a middle, and a couple of their middles are already off the board. So Taylor Trammell of Penn State, probably top of their list. Foster of SMU as well has been really impressive this year. Big arm, attacking and scoring points off the service line as well.
Natalie Foster has one of those arms that it's so quick, it's hard to block. Coach Sam Erger for SMU told us that it's the fastest arm swing she's ever seen. She's able to score in bunches. So a lot of really solid middles left on the board. I am surprised that we already have 2 gone. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Taylor Trammell.
Well, now we have three in a row.
Three in a row. So middles are highly coveted. It's a smaller pool to choose from, so it makes sense that they're going fast. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Taylor Trammell anytime soon. Like I said before, a 453 hitting efficiency. She would do really well in this league.
I have a sleeper who I think is really good, and we haven't even talked about her, Layla Blackwell at Nebraska. She is so good. I mean, they're talented and deep in Nebraska on the bench, but she was an All-American at USD, led her team to the national semifinal. She's a sleeper, big, works hard, great volleyball IQ, both sides of the ball really strong.
And that Nebraska team, I mean, is just at the top of the country. So to be there and to thrive in that environment with the Big Ten, with as difficult as it is, yeah, she's definitely a sleeper, but a big name.
Clara Jeter at Arizona State. We talked about her earlier. Elise Getzinger is at Creighton. She played at Kentucky, but now at Creighton, having a fantastic season. I believe she needs to stay in Omaha for school reasons, so not sure if she'll get picked up in this round or later on. But another player we haven't talked about, Kara Cressy of Louisville, 6'6". She could play opposite, she can play middle. I mean, she's a threat.
Yeah, she's absolutely huge, but the pick is in. So let's go ahead and see who's Indy Ignite selects. Oh, and we're back on. Not yet. This is a tough decision. Oh, never mind. They are back. Indy Ignite, who do you select?
With the first pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Indy Ignite select Elena Scott from the University of Louisville.
Yes!
Pick 2 of round 2. The Omaha Supernovas are on the clock.
That is a stud of a choice. If you know volleyball across the country, you know Elena Scott of Louisville, one of the best liberos in the country. She's so quick. She's got such a clean touch. She stabilizes their serve receive. And just when you think a ball goes down, nope, she's there. She's scooping it up. She makes it look easy.
Elena Scott is elite, and she's going to help you in serve receive, and she keeps the ball off the floor. She's one of the most fun players to watch, works hard, wants to win, wills her team to win, and she's going to be a huge addition.
She's leading the ACC in digs. Oh, and this is fun. Let's take a look at some of her highlights. Really, I mean, just so elite. She makes these Superman dives that you're like, okay, the ball's going to go down. Nope, boom, there she is. She doesn't let the ball touch the floor. She's got the never say die kind of mentality that you want out of a libero.
She goes airborne often and with control. Look at this cover play to keep it alive, and she's somebody you want on your team if you want to win at the highest level.
And Louisville is looking to have a strong finish to the season. They're going to play Pitt coming up here soon, a team that they had lost to in 5 sets. It was an absolute heartbreaker, but this could determine, I mean, this has big implications for the rest of the season and seeding going into the national championship. So Elena Scott is far from done this season in college. All right, next up, we've got Omaha Supernovas on the board in round 1. They are complete. What do you think they're going to go with in round 2? Maybe an outside or a middle?
Well, we think left side, but things are changing. We saw a bro go early in Elena Scott, but 2, they were looking at pin hitters in round 2. So Lindsay Krause, Allie Batenhorst. I'm crossing off names that have been drafted. I would think those are some.
Allie Batenhorst.
Charity Looper. What about Charity Looper? Charity Looper is 5'9" and touches 10'8". But not only does she touch 8, she plays up there, which is so impressive. Quick defensively. I think she's a player who could be drafted. Yulia Orzel from Wisconsin. Maya Tabron from SMU. Raina Terry. Melanie Parra, who's leading the country in scoring. There's so many players. I'm just going down my list. Caroline Bien as well out of Kansas. So lots of talent.
Most definitely. Allie Batenhorst sticks out to me. Nebraska, now USC. She's well known. She's got a really large following. She's going to bring that following to whichever team she gets to. Over 400 kills, well over 200 digs on the season. 6th in the Big Ten in kills at 416. So she's a good one. But I mean, the talent is so impressive this year for college. Anyone could go at any time.
Allie Batenhorst, when she went back to Nebraska to play as a USC Trojan, had such a warm reception. The people of Nebraska love her. She would be a nice fit here.
And with that, the pick is in. Let's see who Omaha selects.
With the second pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Omaha Supernovas select Emily Londot from The Ohio State University.
With the third pick in round 2, the Columbus Fury is on the clock. Announcing the pick today will be head coach Angel Perez.
Emily Londot is an absolute stud. I knew she would go early. I mean, she is an absolute baller. So many kills on the season, so many points.
You see the strategy shifting in the middle of the draft. They told us one thing this week, but they're shifting according to who's left on the board. And I like that. You got to pivot. You have to have a backup plan. And I'm sure they're in their war room trying to figure out their next pick.
Emily Londot, 460 kills so far this season, 278 digs. 2nd in the Big Ten in kills, and 1st in double doubles at 16. Week in and week out, she is putting up some huge numbers. Let's take a look at some of her highlights. She's got a really strong swing, nice heavy arm, and she uses all of that power.
We talk about versatility. Emily Londout has played both the right and left pin. This year she's on the right, puts up a huge block, and like you said, 16 double-doubles. That's a well-rounded game for Ohio State, and she's going to contribute at the pro level and do amazing things.
Let's go ahead and move to Columbus, who is on the clock. This will be their first pick so far in the draft. They made a trade last season exchanging their first-round pick with Tori Dilfer-Stringer. So now they have a second-round pick. Last season, 8-16, tied for 5th. They play at Nationwide Arena. Their coach is the wonderful Angel Perez. Some key players, Megan Courtney Lush and Tori Stringer, a stud setter.
When we talked to Angel Perez, he said, look, we need a fast arm in the middle and a big arm on the pin. So look for them to focus on that this pick.
We've seen Nora Sisko. Raina Terry is still up in the air. Illinois, 456 kills on the season, 547 points. First in the Big Ten with those points, 55 aces. So just all around, she's an absolute stud. We could see them go in that direction, but you never know. It's been all over the place so far.
A big arm on the pin. Melanie Parra has proven she can score at TCU, leads the country in points, and she is one of those players who can score, one of the best servers in the country as well.
Melanie Parra at TCU, 5'11". She's springy. She's got a lightning fast arm. She's leading the Big 12 in kills and points. Last season, she had one of the best all-time seasons for TCU, and now in this next season, she's already beaten it. So she's just on the rise, and I love an undersized player who can get up and bang balls and be lightning fast, and she is that. So that would be a really good pick for them. She could get a lot of points for them on that outside pin.
A player we haven't talked about is Nina Chajic at Tennessee. She's a high flyer. She had how many kills in that one match? 40-something?
42
for Tennessee, and she's a player, bombs her serve, loves to hit out of the back row, and she's a player who can score with her speed, but she's a dynamic one who could be a sleeper. And when we talked to Angel Perez, he said, look, we're looking for sleepers kind of sliding in under the radar. So looking forward to see who he picks at the spot.
Yeah, he said his mindset to the draft this season, it's that last year they had the first pick. So this year, now they have to wait until the second round plus the trade. So this year, they're going to look for sleepers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get just an out of the blue pick. But Reagan Cooper last season for them was an absolute stud. She was the PVF Rising Star of the year. She accumulated a lot of points. I believe she finished in the top 5 in the league in kills. And the pick is in. Let's go ahead and take a look.
With the third pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Columbus Fury select Raina Terry from the University of Illinois.
With pick 4 in round 2, the Vegas Thrill is on the clock. Announcing the pick today is Sergeant Greg Krismanek from the Nevada Army National Guard.
All right, Columbus, solid pick. We knew she would go up high. I mean, she just can accumulate a whole lot of points. Like I said before, 456 kills on the season. That is absolutely unheard of, especially in the Big Ten. I mean, those kind of numbers when you're facing a block that's as big as the Nebraskas or the other Big Ten teams. I mean, it's really impressive to get that kind of production.
And at 6'3", she gives you length on the pin. So that's a great pickup for Columbus.
Let's go to who is on the clock now. It's Vegas Thrill. Second round, Vegas Thrill. We think they might still try and get an outside. We will see. Solid first round pick for them. Vegas Thrill had a good season last season, but they're moving in the right direction. They have a longer time to decide who they want to pick. They only had 60 days last season, a new league, but now it's time to take their time and really morph that team around their setter, Alicia Glass-Childress.
And again, they're looking for power on the outside, someone who could score in the pins. They've got strong middles, an experienced setter, and they want strength on the pin. So we've mentioned a lot of these left-siders, Melanie Parra, Isabel Martin of Florida, Maya Tabron from SMU, Allie Batenhorst Charity Looper, so many strong left side options, and there's so many more. Jalen Hodge from Arizona, Mabry Schaffmaster, who's got one of the best serves in the country, 51 aces on the year so far. So it depends what you need from this left side player, but there's lots of weapons still on the board. You know, there's a player we haven't talked about. Valeria Vasquez Gomez from Pitt. She's having a fantastic season.
Yep.
She does it all. Got a cannon for an arm, and she's surrounded by a talented group, and she's the player who wants to win.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see it in her face. Sometimes there's players where you can just see exactly what they want. She gets locked in. She's an absolute fighter for this team. Pitt is on their way to possibly winning a national championship. We will see. There's time left. But she's a major contributor for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to play pro volleyball in the United States as well. Holly, let's just talk about how much of an incredible feat it is to have pro volleyball in the United States. You've been playing for a really long time. What does it mean to you to see the sport grow in the way that it has?
It's incredible. I was so impressed last year with the PVF, the crowds, the level of play, in everything surrounding the sport, the fan support, the communities. Every arena that I went into, I was blown away by the reception of volleyball at the pro level in our country. We've been talking about it for years. We've got incredible eyes, attendance records being broken across the country week after week, and then more volleyball on TV all the time. So I think it's a really good time for Pro Volleyball Federation.
Absolutely. And when talking with some of the coaches, they say in the past, you can either pick going with your passion and playing volleyball or making a living, but now you can do both. You can make a living in the United States and you can play. So what an opportunity. And calling some of the games last season, younger players would come and watch and their eyes just light up because now they have models, role models of a path that they can take and they can pursue this sport at the highest level, still be around their friends and family and make it a lifelong career if they want. So PVF has done a wonderful job of giving opportunities for these players, and it's been really fun to watch and be involved in.
And in prior years, they had to go outside the country, live abroad. And that's hard for people to go by yourself and learn a new language, play in a different system, and you don't have the same type of medical support, training facilities to train your body. That's really hard to do in a foreign country. So it's just an incredible opportunity to be able to play pro volleyball in our country, surrounded by fans and great medical support and training facilities. And it's just an incredible opportunity.
Let's go ahead and talk about Vegas Thrill and who they have on their team right now and some of their really solid returners. Alicia Glass-Childress, wonderful setter. Tegan DeFalco, a libero who also played beach, who I played against a couple times.
Kendall White, who's one of the best liberos in the country from Penn State. She's a veteran. We talked about Willow Johnson at the opposite. Grace Loberg won a championship at Wisconsin. She will return. And Anita Adekunle is another middle for them who's recovering from a knee surgery, but she provides some length in the middle. So a lot of strength in the middle for Vegas.
And Vegas, when speaking with Coach Fran Flory, she said, we need to build this league around people. And I think that the league is doing a really good job of that. Highlighting the players. It's all about the players, and it should be all about the players. And so we're just going to continue to highlight them because the talent in the United States has reached an all-time high. And looking at this draft and the players that they're drafting, the level of competition is going to continue to grow just light years.
It's so exciting. I'm looking at, you and I have lists and lists and lists. And there's so many players that we haven't even been able to highlight who are amazing, who can and should get picked up and have the opportunity to play professionally in the U.S.
And I think an important thing to note is last year, Hannah Maddox got drafted, and she didn't come from a Power 5 school, and she ended up taking off and leading the way. So when speaking with Coach Fran Flory, she said, is there another Hannah Maddox in the draft? Where can we find that diamond in the rough? And they're going to be looking for that. Columbus Fury, I know, mentioned going to be looking for diamonds in the rough. So we're really excited to see who they go with. And time is flying by. Players are going, and we will see who they go with.
Vegas Thrill taking all the time, trying to make the right pick. They also said they needed another bro, might have an injury at that position. So looking at another Libero, Mary Schroll from Arizona State, Emmy Klicka, who's the captain of the defense for Pitt, one of the best defensive teams in the country. Elena Ogilvie from Stanford. We haven't even said her name yet because we haven't been talking about Liberos, but she's amazing, as is Kate Georgiadis from Houston.
Yeah, Klicka from Pitt. Large part of Pitt's Final Four appearances many times, but the pick is in. Let's see who Vegas Thrill goes with.
Let's go. All right. With the fourth pick in the second round, Vegas Thrill is selecting Mary Schroll from Arizona State. Let's go, Vegas! Let's go!
With the fifth pick in round 2, the Grand Rapids Rise is on the clock. Announcing today's pick is Tarita Johnson, Senior Vice President, The Right Place.
I love that pick.
Me
Mary
too.
Schroll is a stud. She's so gritty. I love that she's the second Libero selected. She's top 2 in the Big 12 in digs, and she's a really fun player to watch.
And Mary Schroll has led Arizona State to their first Big 12 championship, already clinched a part of it. They've had a fantastic season, so that's a big pickup.
Let's go Grand Rapids in the second round. But before we do that, let's highlight Mary Schroll just a little bit more. She is one of the leaders of this team. She's been throughout the entirety of the season and her career there. She's really good on defense. Look at that little hop step, put herself in the right position. Nice pop up there by her. You can't really hit it to the left area of the court because she
Really is a huge part of the Arizona State puzzle. And look at her keep the ball off the floor for Arizona State.
All right, next up, we are going to go with Grand Rapids. You are on the clock. In the second round, Holly, where do you feel like Grand Rapids has some room where maybe a position that they could go with?
Well, they surprised us with the middle there. I thought they were going to go opposite, but they said middle blocker or opposite, same as above. So similar. Got to keep track of everybody who's been selected. And that's, I don't think we've seen Taylor Trammell selected, right?
We have not. Nope, we haven't. So Taylor Trammell, I mean, a lot of coaches said her name. A lot of teams want her. She produces at such a high level. She's an absolute stud. She would be a good one to go with. Or they could go opposite route, maybe. Nia Shimei is one that we've heard a lot about. She's on the National Player of the Year watch list. Coach Sam Erger at SMU said her job is to jump and put it away, and she does just that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her go at some point. Mara Beeson, first pick of the draft. She's unavailable now.
Lydia Grote on the right side from Minnesota. That's another player.
Lydia Grote's a good one. And the pick is in. Let's see who Grand Rapids Rise goes with.
With the fifth pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Grand Rapids Rise select Nia Shimei from Southern Methodist University. Woo!
With the sixth pick in round 2, the Orlando Valkyries are on the clock.
That could not have been any more perfect of timing. We finished talking about Nia Shimei, and boom, she gets drafted. She really deserves to get drafted. She is an absolute superstar for this SMU team, a team that has had so many upsets in this season. They've been the Cinderella story throughout the season, so congratulations, Nia Shimei. You 100% deserve this. All right, on the clock is the Orlando Valkyries. Now, we know the Valkyries went with Nora Sis in the first round. Holly, what direction do you feel like maybe they will go in the second as we shuffle through all of our papers?
There's a lot. Well, Natalie Foster out of SMU. We talked about her size, but her arm is what makes her special. She has one of the best serves in the country, but as a scorer, she can get it done. Doesn't matter if you've got a big block in front of her, she can score. Very wristy, quick arm, and I think she's probably one of the top choices. But if you look at some of the other middles, I already talked about Cece Crawford out of Wisconsin, high VBIQ, and she does some things that no other middle blocker does. You see her jump set, dump, saw her do a little back set dump, and she's super sneaky as a blocker. She might be a little undersized, but she is a dominant blocker for Wisconsin, and I would like to see her go. I mean, she's just so good.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Nia Shimei's highlight reel, but not yet because the pick is in Orlando. That was a quick one. Let's see who they go with.
With the 6th pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF draft, the Orlando Valkyries select middle blocker Natalie Foster from Southern Methodist University.
With the pick 7 in the second round, the Omaha Supernovas are now on the clock.
Congratulations, Natalie Foster, with that super quick whip-ipping arm. She also is tied with Olivia Babcock in aces in the ACC. So she's a middle that can go back and just rip some serves. She contacts that ball really high. It's a nice flat float serve. She so deserves this. And she is joining a really solid group of middles at the Valkyries in MK White and Kaz Brown. So that's a big get for the Valkyries. Congratulations. Next up, we're going to go Omaha Supernovas.
They're looking at a middle in this position. At least they did think so earlier before making that middle blocker. Well, they got a middle blocker and opposite, and they talked about one more left-sider possibly to fill that spot. They've changed their order depending on who's left on the board, but another player we talked about, Allie Batenhorst. I mean, she'd be a perfect fit there. Lindsay Krause as well, big left side pin hitter for Nebraska.
Lindsay Krause had a standout junior season at Nebraska that got cut short due to injury, but she's been really good at Nebraska all of her years, really solid, accumulates a lot of points. She's very physical, and she's a big asset for this team. And to be an asset on a team that's as strong as Nebraska, you know you're a stud.
Left sides that are available in case they go with the left side. I don't know what they're doing at this point. Charity Looper, Yulia Orgel, Allie Batenhorst, Maya Tabrone, Melanie Parra, Caroline Bien, Isabel Martin, just to name a few. Nina Chayich, Elise McGee, Valeria Vasquez Gomez. I mean, gosh, there's so many.
There's so many. And so
Tamara Otene as well. She's a player we haven't talked about, from New Zealand, plays at Georgia Tech. I mean, there's so much depth at that left side position if they want to fill that.
And I started calling volleyball about 2 years ago, and I think Otene's name was the first name that I learned, and she has been so good for them for so long. But she's got a really cool arm swing, and she's really powerful, and she causes a lot of trouble to all of the defenses that she plays against. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her as well. Allie Batenhorst, Melanie Parra, just a stud. I mean, there are so many good players on the clock. It'll be interesting to see who Omaha goes with. They will join Reagan Cooper on the outside, former PVF Rising Star of the Year. So a lot of opportunity there for a player to come in and make an impact. And you can't forget Brooke Nunaviller, who is just one of the best outsides, one of the most fun outsides to watch I've ever seen. So that's great for Omaha to have her as well.
A lot of these coaches talk to the athletes. They want to get to know if it's the right fit, coaching philosophy-wise, team-wise. You want to make sure they have the same mindset, same expectations. And so that's really important part of the puzzle when trying to figure out who you want to draft.
And when speaking with Coach Bird, the Omaha coach, before the draft, she said it's a whole different feeling this year. Last year, none of the coaches were really talking to each other. It was more straightforward. Well, this year, there's more trading, there's more behind the scenes, everybody's talking, and also their training camp last year was December 1st, or sorry, this year it'll be December 1st. Last year it was 2 weeks before the season, so there was a lot of stress. This year it's more calm, they have more time to make decisions, and she said she's really looking forward to the layout and the flow that this year brings.
I think culture and the core group has been established, so you're just welcoming in the new players. Last year, everything was new. It was a brand new, let's get together in 2 weeks and try and establish culture and rhythm and teamwork and all that stuff. And that's really hard to do in 2 weeks. So now with the returning group, I think that's going to make a big difference.
And one of the leaders of this Omaha team is Natalia Valentin Anderson. She is one of the most fun setters to watch. And Coach Bird gave her one of the highest compliments I think that you can give a player. She said, she told Natalia Valentin Anderson, I don't ever want to do anything in the volleyball world without you in it. And isn't that just, if a coach said that to me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll play for you forever.
Yes.
Like, well, I mean, what a wonderful thing. What a wonderful compliment.
Natalia Valentin Anderson is special. One of the best servers. She's undersized. She might be 5'7" at best, but she gets up and blocks. You'll see her solo block. She'll attack. Fantastic defender. She could even be a Libero. She is elite. And you can tell by the energy she gives her teammates that everybody loves playing with her. And that's why you want her on your team.
Her defense is really good. She's really fast. The energy is really fun. They lost Sydney Hilly to Indiana, and she's going to be great there at the Ignite. But that's another star to watch as well. Omaha is going to try to go back to back for that championship. So we will see. But they were amazing last year. They were really fun to watch. They had a sold-out crowd. We worked the semis and the finals, and Omaha was just dominant start to finish. They had that reverse sweep against San Diego in the semis. I mean, all of our hearts were just going a million miles per hour. So that was really fun and good for them. And with that, the pick is in. Let's see who they go with.
Yeah. With the 7th pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Omaha Supernovas select Allie Batenhorst from the University of Southern California.
With the final pick of round 2, the Indy Ignite, you are on the clock.
Allie Batenhorst is very tall, very talented, many good years at Nebraska, now finishing her career at USC. Stud outside for them. I like to see what she's going to do there.
Allie Batenhorst is playing, in my opinion, the best volleyball of her career. She's on the court the whole time. When you're on the court as an athlete, you have a better feel, rhythm. She's attacking out of the back row. She's serving aces from the back line, playing good defense in the serve receive. And Mia Tuaninga, her setter at USC, loves to get her the ball. They've got an incredible connection. She's playing her most confident volleyball of her career, and it shows being a 6th rotation player. That helps.
And then you can see the passion and the fire that she brings. In some of these players' faces, you can just tell that they love the sport of volleyball. She is one of those players. You see how high she contacts the ball, just swinging up and over a lot of the opposing blocks. And then she's a good two-way player. She's also good at the net. Nice, strong press. You see her on all of these blocks, finishing back to six, pushing that ball down towards the floor. Nice little snap, whip of an arm. One-on-one situation, you can't leave her on those because she's just going to beat the block.
And this year at USC, Allie Batenhorst, we've seen more of her game. We've seen the quick pins. We've seen her go right side. We've seen her come down the pipe, hitting Bicks. I mean, she's being used in all sorts of different ways we haven't seen before. And I think that really proves that she's a player who can continue to grow.
Indy Ignite is on the clock. They picked DeBeer earlier, and that's a wonderful get for them, a solid outside. So really solid pick by Indy Ignite, and I'd be interested to see who they go with next. Any areas of their game, any positions that you feel like maybe they could be leaning towards?
I think they want opposite. I mean, this is what the original plan was, and that's a quick one.
And we'll see if they go with an opposite. Indy Ignite, what's your pick?
Begin. With the 8th pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Indy Ignite selects Cece Crawford from the University of Wisconsin. Yes! Keep going, High fives, high fives.
This is the beginning of round 3. With the first pick in the third round, it's the Orlando Valkyries. Orlando is on the clock.
Cece Crawford is one of those that you made a point to say you really, really like her gameplay.
I love Cece Crawford. She is a gamer. She shows up in a big way. And you see, she's got game face on. She's a baller. You'll see her jump set balls. She shuts people down. I mean, and this year with the connection with freshman setter at Wisconsin, Charlie Furbringer, they've had an incredible connection. So that confidence is there, and you're seeing her dominate matches. I love her game.
Yeah, I just watched one of Wisconsin's games recently, and you're right. She was very calm, really confident throughout the entirety. She'll get a step block, and then she'll just turn around, smooth face, and be like, yeah, that's what I do. Let's take a look at some of her highlights because she definitely deserves to get drafted. Look how quickly she moves side to side, really dynamic.
Kelly Sheffield, the head coach at Wisconsin, always talks about how good she is laterally as a blocker. And she's like, yeah, that's my job. I shut people down. I squash dreams, and she does it on the regular.
And this Wisconsin team is one that has so much firepower. They are so physical. They are so tall. To get a player out of Nebraska, I mean, there's just excellence in those, Wisconsin players. And so she just has excellence running through her veins, and I know she's going to be a really big asset to them.
I think volleyball IQ is CeCe Crawford's strength, and I think that's going to be really exciting to see her continue to evolve at that level.
And speaking of middle blockers, last season's middle blocker of the year was none other than one of my favorite players, Kaz Brown. She's an absolute stud. Talk about confidence. She's one that gets onto the court and you just feel, okay, Kaz Brown is here. She's a leader. She's going to take care of every single chance that she gets to take care of the ball. She's really good both ways, really solid attacker, very efficient, one of the top in the PVF in hitting efficiency last season. Talk about moving quickly side to side. She does just that. She has the ability to shut down teams with that block. So Kaz Brown, middle blocker of the year last year for the Valkyries, stuck with the Valkyries this season, and we will see who the Valkyries go with there on the clock. In the first round, they selected Nora Sis, big outside hitter. Big get for them. She will join Adora Anai and Lindsay Vanderweide on that outside for the Valkyries. And then in the second round, they chose Natalie Foster. So they've got some depth outside middle. Where do you think possibly they could go with this pick?
Looking at a 6 rotation opposite, that's what they talked about wanting. They want somebody who's had that experience playing 6 rotations, like an international opposite that can pass and swing out of the back row. And they were looking at Chimay, who's off the board. Jalen Hodge out of Arizona is a player who can fill that role for them. We have Reagan Rutherford. She's one of the best opposites in the country. Lefty, can score at a high clip, super dynamic blocker. She's one of my favorite players as well. Really quick feet. Gosh.
I mean, so
Jordan
many.
Iliff out of Missouri is another player. Lydia Grote, we've talked about. Natalie Glenn out of Long Beach State has been putting up some incredible numbers, hitting over 300 for them.
And when speaking with Coach Amy Pauley, she said in the third round, if they go for an opposite, they want someone that can play 6 rotations. So that's one of the reasons why, I mean, maybe they would go with like a Jalen Hodge because she's got over 300 kills in all 4 of her seasons. She's playing 6 rotations, so she can hit out of that right back position. And she's been really good for a really long time. Top 5 in Big 12 in kills. So that could be an option for them, but we will see which way they go. Like we said, there are so many viable opposites, middles, liberos still out there. And setters. Haven't seen a setter go yet.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, the setter's the quarterback of the team, but a lot of these teams have experienced setters and they're building the team around. So you want depth at the setter position. But in terms of an international, we talk about 6 rotation right side. It's a player who, when your setter's in the front row, they can attack out of the back row and always give you that outlet. So that's a really important draft pick, and Orlando, I believe, is looking at that position right now.
Yeah, I think that would be a smart room. And the clock is winding down. Orlando Valkyries taking their time. It's a big decision. We've got about 45 seconds. This
No
will be
pressure.
An interesting one. Yeah, no pressure. Clock is winding down. Head coach Amy Pauley is a wonderful coach. Oh, and it looks like Cecile Renaud. Good to see you. Is the
Good
pick
to see
in?
you too, Madison. Orlando has asked for a timeout, so they'll get an additional 3 minutes.
Okay.
Would they like us to tap dance?
All right, well, I can brag on the Valkyries a little bit. I think that they did a really good job in the offseason with who they've brought into their team. Lindsay Vanderweide from San Diego last season, just high scoring outside, really strong swing, really strong arm. They did a good job with their setters. You said you like their setters. I like Pornpun Goodpard. And so they've done a good job with that position. And then Brittany Abercrombie's got to be one of the biggest gets in the offseason, a Athletes Unlimited champion. So big get for them all the way around on those players.
I think Orlando did a really nice job in the offseason. They are solid at every position, bringing in Abercrombie, and then they've got a healthy Hannah Pukas at that other setting spot, so they've got depth at the setting spot. They run a very quick offense, so look for them to be really dynamic, and they've got tons of weapons as well. Georgia Murphy returns as the Libero. She was one of the best, and she's backed up, or in addition, Chanel Bramschreiber out of Wisconsin is at that spot as well. I think if you want to win a championship, you have to play defense. And you want to center around a great block like Kaz Brown in the middle. So playing defense is really important, and getting stops, that's key.
Exactly, because in the Pro Volleyball Federation, the attackers are the best of the best. They're all All-Americans. Some of them are national champions. So you're playing against the best attackers that the country has to offer. So the defense really does win games. Whoever can recycle the ball up and give their team a chance to score is going to be one of the best in the league. Omaha last year, the PVF champions, they had really solid defense. So each team gets one timeout. I think it's important to note Orlando Valkyries using their one timeout, really thinking about this decision. It's an important one. Like I said before, Nora Sis went to Orlando in the first round as an outside, and Natalie Foster, who we love, went to Orlando in the second round. And with 2 minutes left, the pick is in. Orlando Valkyries, who do you go with?
With the first pick in the third round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Orlando Valkyries select opposite Lydia Grote from the University of Minnesota.
With the second pick in the third round, it's Columbus Fury. Announcing the pick for the Fury is Captain Megan Courtney Lush. Columbus is on the clock.
Lydia Grote, congratulations. Now, an opposite for the Valkyries. Holly, what do you like about Lydia Grote?
Lydia Grote is really, really good. Sneaky, I'm surprised she wasn't picked up sooner. She's done a fantastic job all season long. She started her career at Cal, transferred to Minnesota, and has been impressive, especially with the injuries they've had on the left side. She's had to pick up a lot more offense on the right side. Gets it done defensively and has had high kill matches all season long. So she's been an all-star, high volleyball IQ, can really do it all. Good ball control in the back row. She's going to be a nice addition for Orlando.
Now we've got Columbus with their third round pick. Do you think they might go for a middle or best available?
They talked about wanting a strong middle blocker who can go off one foot, and M1. A lot of these players have gone, but there are some sleepers that they're looking at. They didn't want to talk about them because they didn't want to put them out there, but there's some really good middles. Anna Dodson out of UCLA could be one of those. And look at my middle list in case Cece's gone.
Natalie Foster's gone. Corey Lewis is gone. We've got some sleepers that we won't name just yet, but if they get taken up, we called it. So many talented middles across the country. You just have to really look to find them sometimes, and we could see him go with one of those. He also said if he can grab a top libero early, that they will.
Layla Blackwell out of Nebraska. Claire Jeter out of Arizona State, another player. Kiara Reinhart out of Creighton. What about Kara Cressy out of Louisville, 6'6"?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of players on this list that can be picked up at this point.
And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they go for a taller one. He said that we're a little undersized right now. He said, but he kind of likes that. They're going to be a ball controlled team. They're going to be a scrappy team. They're going to try and be really good in reception and side out, which is imperative in the sport of volleyball. So that's a quality of this team that he's really going to lean into. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go with some height in this round.
Columbus added Morgan Lewis, who was on the San Diego team last year at the opposite, who out of Oregon. She was one of the most impressive scorers on the right side. So she provides some size, but on the left pin, Jill Gillen at 5'7" is a dynamic attacker, and she'll be better in her second year, not coming off her college season.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let's go ahead and talk about Devin Robinson. I mean, she is a star, and now she is in. Oh, the pick is in, just when I was about to say something. All right, who do you go with, Columbus?
With the second pick of the third round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the Columbus Fury select Kaylee Cox from Western Kentucky University.
With the third pick in the third round, Omaha Supernovas. Omaha, you're on the clock.
Congratulations, Kaylee Cox. Now she's going to Columbus. That's a great get for them. Went with one of those sleepers, and a name that we didn't hear as much, but really, really well deserved. I think she's going to complement this team really well. Columbus Fury, a team that is a little bit smaller right now. They're building up to get their max roster, as opposed to an Atlanta who's got a really big roster right now. But Columbus is just going to continue to add these kind of sleeper players, but really talented players as well, who are going to add just so much to this team.
And Kaylee Cox is a 6'3" pin hitter. So again, adding that size that we talked about. And we're seeing some pivots in terms of where they want to go draft-wise, but she's been fantastic her entire career.
Quick one for Omaha Supernovas. The pick is in. Omaha, who are you going with in round 3?
With the third pick in the third round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the Omaha Supernovas pick Lindsay Krause from the University of Nebraska.
With the fourth pick in the third round, we go to Indy Ignite. Indy, you're on the clock.
Good one, Supernovas. Krause, really solid. I mean, all the way around. A lot of success in her time at Nebraska. Good choice.
Lindsay Krause is one of those big pin hitters, 6'4", can pass. She's been battling for that left side spot with Nebraska with Taylor Landfair all season long, but she is experienced, can score at a high clip, and before that bad ankle sprain a year ago, she was putting up All-American numbers. She's got the all-around game. She competes and is in the gym every day, elevating her game. So she's a great pickup. And if you see the theme for Omaha, we've got Batenhorst, Krause, all players who played in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, and Coach said that's something that she wants to do. She wants to keep these players home, build the fan base. I mean, we know Nebraska fans, you guys are the absolute best. I mean, you're the fans that everybody wants across the country. So thank you for being you, first of all. And second of all, I mean, just keep showing up, because you guys are what really drives this Omaha team and this Nebraska team. So thank you so much. But I love that she's sticking with the Nebraska theme. Keep those players in, build the fan base, continue to grow. Next up, we've got Indy Ignite. Indy Ignite went with Anna DeBeer in the first round. Boom, solid choice. Then in their next pick, Cece Crawford, who you love, and now we're in round 3. So they've got a middle blocker picked up and an outside. Indy Ignite is the newest team to the PVF. They're playing the Fishers Event Center, which is something that Coach Patchen was really excited about because it's brand new. So you've got a beautiful brand new place to play in and a brand new team. So it doesn't really get more exciting or thrilling than that.
Brand new, state-of-the-art Fishers Event Center, 7,500 people. They're going to sell that out every night. And they're so excited about building the sport in Indianapolis.
And I don't blame them. Even the sports commissioner for Indy said that he wants Indy to be the #1 women's sports city in the country. What a great sports commissioner, first of all, thank you. And then second of all, I agree. I mean, PVF deserves that kind of recognition. Indy Ignite is already a stacked team. They're going to be really fun to watch. So let's go ahead and grow the sport over there in Indy and continue to expand.
Indy looking for opposites. Reagan Rutherford's still on the board.
Yep, Merritt Beeson gone. Reagan Rutherford is still there. Emily Londot is gone. But Reagan Rutherford, 195 kills on the season. Lefty, whip of an arm. And lefties are harder to block because you have to line up differently than you're going to line up on a righty. And blockers aren't as used to seeing a lefty as they are a righty. Reagan Rutherford played 4 seasons at Kentucky from 2020 to 2023, member of the national championship winning team as a freshman, so she's a hot get if any of the teams want to pick her up, but we will see. There's lots of players available still, but we'll see if they go with an opposite.
Jordan Iliff at Missouri. We've mentioned her a few times today. We heard her name a lot with some of the coaches, so that's another player who we expect to go soon. Also, Katie Ryan out of Washington State. She's 6'5", another left-handed opposite. She leads the Washington State offense and has been really powerful on them on the offensive end, for them on the offensive end.
Yep, Sophia Maldonado Diaz, Louisville, still up for grabs. Led Arizona last season and now is a big star at Louisville. Almost 200 kills on the season, almost hitting about 300, so very efficient and really hitting her stride later in ACC play. So she's another one of those that could go. Indy Ignite's got about 1 minute, but they haven't selected to use their timeout yet, so we will see if they decide to use that. But so far, really solid picks by them. They are building a stud of a roster here in their first season. So I know there's a lot of hype around this team. And the pick is in Indy Ignite. Who are you selecting in round 3?
With the 8th pick in the second round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Indy Ignite selects Taylor Trammell from the Penn State University. Yay! Let's go!
With the 5th pick in the 3rd round, it's Atlanta Vibe. Atlanta, you're on the clock.
That's a steal. That is a stud
Agreed.
of a choice. This Indy Ignite team is picking absolutely wonderfully. Taylor Trammell, one of the best middles in the country.
And Taylor Trammell having one of the best offensive years she's had. The connection with freshman setter Izzy Stark has been fantastic. And you can see the confidence in her game, always a strong blocker, but now her offense has really emerged and she is fire. That's a steal for them.
It is hitting .453 on the season right now, 203 kills, 102 blocks. And this season's not over yet. She gets on the ball quickly. I watched a couple of her highlights. Really good on the gap set. She's up and she's swinging really fast and she's able to avoid the block really well because she has such a fast arm swing. And she thrives. If you give her any kind of space, I mean, she's just going to take it. Defensively at the net, star as well. And you see how long her arms are. And I mean, that's a huge pro as a middle blocker.
Love her swagger. She wants to compete. She wants to win. And she is fierce in the middle for Penn State.
And you can tell she's very disciplined on the block as well. She's always does the little things right. Above the net, turning those palms into the court, pointing those fingers down into the court. You can tell she's very disciplined as well. She's going to thrive. And the best part about Pro Volleyball Federation is these players are the best of the best in the country. And they can continue to get better. They all have such high ceilings. So I cannot wait to see where she goes as she continues on in this career, joining a great team.
At the pro level, you continue to get better. You continue to grind. You're playing against the best teams in the country. There's no weaknesses. I mean, first of all, collegiate level is very high, but this is the next level, more physical. And the challenge makes you better. You got to learn new tools. You got to learn new ways to score and stop balls. And it's going to be a really fun level to see how these young athletes develop.
I completely agree. Next up, the Atlanta Vibe. You've got about 3 minutes in round 1. The Atlanta Vibe did a great job. They got Beeson and Corey Lewis, so 2 really tall, physical attackers. Where do you think they're going to go with their 3rd pick?
Well, they could go an L2, an outside hitter who's very good on first contact. Another player, or a player we've talked about a lot, is Melanie Parra.
Melanie Parra is such a stud. She's one of my favorite players to watch. I love when they're smaller and they can jump really high and produce at such a high level, really fun. But we can't talk about the Atlanta Vibe without talking about the MVP of last season, Leah Edmond. 1, such a kind person, just a standout individual. And then 2, an absolute stud on the floor, true leader of this team. I mean, last season and no doubt this season, she's a player that they kind of morph and build their team around.
Leah Edmond 2 years ago won Athletes Unlimited. She dominated. And then she came to Atlanta Vibe and dominated again, helping lead her team. She is an all-around player, a fierce competitor who scores and makes the athletes around her better. And then she's got Morgan Hentz on her team as well. So that's a player who's going to keep you in system so you can go with pace to the pins. And Leah Edmond is one of those players who answers the call match after match.
And I'll tell you what's scary is a Leah Edmond who's hungry for a championship and a Morgan Hentz who's hungry for a championship. I mean, those kind of players, I mean, when you get them going, they can almost be unstoppable. And our friend Paul Sunderland said last season, don't hit the ball to Hentzville because Morgan Hentz has that left back position locked down. So how much...
Hentzville is bigger than just left back.
That's good.
The whole half of the court.
Yeah, exactly.
Morgan Hentz is a dominant defensive player, so fun to watch.
Can't swing at Hentzville. You can't serve at Hentzville. I mean, her ball control is amazing. 3-time national champion at Stanford. And the pick is in, Atlanta Vibe. Who you going with?
With the 5th pick in the 3rd round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the Atlanta Vibe select Taylor Head from Florida State University.
I like hearing that. With the 6th pick in the 3rd round is Grand Rapids Rise. Announcing their pick will be Dan Johnson, head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffin. Grand Rapids, you're on the clock.
Okay, that gives me goosebumps because I was a Florida State Seminole and Taylor Head is now a Florida State Seminole. I also called a couple of her games at Arkansas 2 years ago. This girl is a double-double queen. I mean, her defense is amazing. She's really quick. And then offensively, if you get that tempo set to her shoulder, she's going to take care of it every single time. I think I've said it before, but my favorite kind of player is an undersized with the tempo set. And that's her all day. Yeah, us too.
Yes.
That's her all day long. So I love that pick. I think that she's really going to thrive at the Vibe. Marley Monserrat can get her a nice little tempo set, and I think she's going to do wonderful things for them offensively and defensively.
I had Taylor Head for Florida State against Stanford, and she must have had 10 kills in the first set. Dominated. She's one of those players who can score, obviously defend. She's got great ball control. Also played beach volleyball for Florida State, so well all-around game, and just a sleeper. We didn't even talk about her. I don't know why. I assumed maybe she was going to play one more year at beach.
Yeah, I thought that as well. But as former beach players, we both know the advantage it is to be good at beach and then be good at indoor, because beach is all about ball control. And in the beach, there's a lot of wind, there's sun, you're playing in the sand. There's a lot of outside factors. So when you get inside, it's like, okay, there's not wind, there's not sun, and it kind of just helps you hone in on that ball control skill. So Taylor Head had a successful beach season, and now she's going to play at the Vibe. So congratulations, Taylor Head. That is really, really exciting. All right, now we're going to go with the Rise. Let's see who they've gone with so far. Raven Colvin they have on their team. And Naya Shimei. So good job drafting for them so far. Where do you think they might go with this pick?
Well, I'm kind of happy about this. A setter. I mean, they talked about adding a setter to their team. So for once we get to talk about setters, one of the most important positions on the court. Argentina Ung, who's running the fastest offense in the country at Arizona State. Mia Tuaninga, one of the most creative setters that we see. Rachel Fairbanks, proven winner all around. She's doing an incredible job leading Pitt this year. One of my favorite players to watch. Kendra Waite at Creighton. Melanie Schaffmaster at Minnesota. Celia Cullen at SMU, and Emma Grome at Kentucky. I mean, that list is stacked.
Yeah, it is.
Incredible options if that's what they're going with in a setter.
Yeah, I mean, all of the options are wide open. It's wide open. I think Rachel Fairbanks is one of the most impressive setters I've ever seen. The pick is in. Let me stop in my tracks. Rise, who do you pick? Nobody here yet, but a lot is going on. All right, Rise, who do you pick?
With a 6th pick in the 3rd round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Grand Rapids Rise select Cameron Turner from Kansas.
With the 7th pick of the 3rd round, San Diego Mojo. Announcing their pick is head coach Taiba Hanif Park. San Diego, you're on the clock.
All right, I have to acknowledge the fact that I've said stud a million times and there's a drinking game, and you might You might be either really hydrated or drunk after this, because I say the word stud a lot. And I probably won't stop saying it, so probably going to have to keep drinking. But we're going to move on to San Diego. Let's see who they got. Oh, Cameron Turner. We actually did not hear that draft pick, but Cameron Turner, really, really solid setter. You just talked about her. I mean, she's going to lead this team really well. She's going to join a talented group of setters over there. And what are some of your favorite things about Cameron Turner from the setting position?
She's a little bit undersized, but dynamic, quick, can keep the team in system from way off the net. That's one of the benefits of being a little setter. And she's done a fantastic job for Kansas. So she's been fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see her elevate her game and feed some bigger hitters.
Let's go ahead and talk about San Diego Mojo. Last season, a little bit slower of a start, but then Coach Taiba Hanif Park, 1, is a joy to talk to. 2, was a very accomplished volleyball player herself. And 3, then led this team to getting back in it and making it to the semis. I mean, it does not get any better than Coach Taiba Hanif Park. She's a really good coach for this team. She said it's such an important time in the world of volleyball for women's sports, in the world in general for women's sports. And now you don't have to choose between playing volleyball and pursuing your passion or making money. You can do it all here. So you can tell she's just such a solid leader for this team.
Incredible. Taiba Hanif said she wants to be the coach that she needed when she was an athlete. And I love that perspective.
I love that too. After she said that quote, I had to clap, because we've had a lot of coaches, and just the perspective to know that, okay, I'm going to be whoever my player needs me to be, takes a lot of maturity and a lot of skill, and that's not an easy thing to do. So Coach Taiba, you are absolutely incredible, and we will see who they go with next. Do you have any idea of what position you're thinking maybe?
I'm thinking a pin, and I know Charity Looper is on the list for sure. Isabel Martin from Florida is an option.
And San Diego already drafted Devin Robinson, who,
big arm.
I mean, huge arm.
Can play in the middle, can play opposite. She's one of those players that can score. She's been incredible for Wisconsin throughout her career, and I think she'll give them a lot of diversity.
I agree. She's hitting .354 on the season. Let's take a look at some highlights, because it is so much fun to watch a talented volleyball player be as athletic as Devin Robinson is. I talked about it before, but it's all about that press. She's got that press. She's got those long arms. She's really disciplined. And then you can run her behind. You see how much body control she has on that behind slide attack. She avoids the block really well, and you can't leave her with a gap on the block, because she's going to do that quick arm swing right through it.
Tons of power and competitiveness from Devin Robinson. She gets laterally, side to side, but they can use her in either position, both on the practice squad and when you're competing. So it's going to make your teammates better having her in the gym, because she's got that versatility.
So in round 1, we got them with Devin Robinson. Now, you think they might go for an outside? Allie Batenhorst, gone.
Charity Looper's still there.
Charity Looper, Louisville. One good thing about Charity Looper is her defense is just as good as her offense. She is lightning fast back there. We called Louisville versus SMU together. I mean, her defense, you think the ball's going to hit the floor, and then she's like, no, boom, got it. One arm, easy peasy. So she's really good at reading, and she puts herself in really good positions to score. She would be a really good get for any team.
Agreed. And we talked about Yulia Orzel for Wisconsin. She can score as an offensive attacker, but great passer. She was the Libero last year for Wisconsin. When she started her career at the junior level, she played opposite. So she can really help you in a lot of different ways in the gym. Maya Tabron from SMU. Melanie Parr is still on the board.
That's surprising to me.
I agree.
Because, I mean, she's such a leader. I was going to say stud, but I stopped myself. Izzy Martin also on the board at UF, really experienced player. This is her 5th year. She came in to this UF team and made an immediate impact, really strong swing on that outside pin. So she is also one that could be an option.
And Valeria Vasquez Gomez still on the board for Pitt. I'm from Pitt, excuse me. I mean, there's some incredible talent here.
The good thing about this is that we're not running out of talented players. The sport of volleyball and the players, the competition has just continued to rise throughout the years. So San Diego, and there I think we're going to get a message from Cecile.
San Diego has elected to use a timeout. We'll put 3 more minutes on the clock.
When we talked to Taiba Hanif Park this week, she talked about an outside hitter, but also a middle. And so she's probably trying to figure out if they want to go middle or outside.
We've still got Claire Jeter, middle on the board. Anna Dotson, UCLA.
Yes.
On the board, both two very viable options. Coach told us that they kind of molded their team around Veronica Stone, a middle, Venegas, a libero, and Dalkey, a right side. First three that she said that she protected.
And Kendra Dalkey is one of those players who's really made an impact. She stepped in on the left, on the right, wherever San Diego needed her, and she was lights out last season. So nice to build around her. And then Veronica Stone, the original slide queen out of Oregon, and then Shara Venegas, the very talented libero.
And Coach told us that she's also really excited about Kylie Cole, the setter, who runs a really fast offense, and she likes to feed the middles. And with Veronica Stone being as efficient, as effective as she is, that's going to be a really good setter-hitter combination for them.
On that, Sarah Sponsel, she's set for UCLA.
Oh, yeah.
She was an outside hitter when she was at LMU. She's been a libero in this league. She can do it all. And I saw on social media that she's getting reps at the setting and blocking. She would like to win that setting position. And then Dejong Lee, a setter out of South Korea, runs a really quick offense. So they are talented in that setting position.
Sarah Sponsel is just one of the most impressive athletes I've ever seen. I played against her on the beach. She absolutely kicked my booty. She's a stud. She went to the Olympics for beach volleyball, played libero last season, and then now coming in, getting those setting reps. That's an all-around athlete, an all-around utility player. Those kind of players, if you have one on your team, it's a huge advantage because let's say, I mean, you've got an injury or you need a spot to fill, boom, you can plug Sarah Sponsel in wherever need be.
At the collegiate level, to play as an outside hitter, 6 rotation outside hitter where you're passing. She didn't even set the ball for a couple of years, and then she transferred to UCLA, ran the offense. It was phenomenal, made everybody around her better. She's so dynamic, quick, beautiful hands, and it's going to be fun to see her compete for that spot.
Most definitely. I'm looking forward to it. So we've got San Diego with about a minute left on the clock. They could go with an outside. They could go with the middle. Claire Jeter's still up for grabs. A lot of good options left on the board.
San Diego will be playing in Viejas Arena. So they've got a home, and they're excited to have that, run up, that training camp before. Last year, they didn't have gym space. They got a little bit late start in terms of training, and that kind of caused a slow start, but they were able to really come up strong, getting into that national semifinal.
And they took the first 2 sets in the semifinal and then got reverse swept. So Coach Taibani Park said she feels like it kind of got stolen from them. So they're hungry this year. And the pick is in. I'm excited to see who they go with. San Diego.
With the 7th pick in the 3rd round of the 2024 PVF Draft, San Diego Mojo select Maya Tabron from SMU.
And with the final pick of the 3rd round, Vegas Thrill. Announcing their pick is setter Alicia Childress. Vegas, you're on the clock.
Let's go ahead and talk about Maya really fast. Steady Eddie is what Coach Sam Erger called her. And it's true, week in and week out, just so smooth, so confident, producing at a high level for her team every week.
Maya Tabron played at Colorado and then transferred to SMU, where she, 6 rotation player, passes most of the balls, but also has got a big arm on the left side. She can really help keep you in the system, plays really nice defense. I think that's a fantastic pickup. We've mentioned her name several times throughout this draft.
Let's take a look at some of her highlights. She can hit out of the back row. She can come in on that stack in the middle as well. She can hit from the outside. She can hit from the right side. We kind of saw her move the block around and hit from everywhere, but it's about the vertical on her. I mean, just so impressive.
She's dynamic, and she can compete at the highest level. We've seen this SMU team beat Nebraska, beat Pitt, the 2 best teams in the country, so she's not afraid to compete.
Now, the thrill is on the clock. This is the last pick of the 3rd round. Any idea of positions?
I think we're looking at a bro.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Round 3, Coach said maybe they'll go libero. Schroll has been picked up. Elena Scott has been picked up. We still have Klicka at Pitt, Kate Georgiadis at Houston.
Ogilvy from Stanford.
Ogilvy.
Yep.
I mean, many good options. So I'll be interested to see if they still go with a bro or if they kind of go away from that. But I think it's a good idea. I mean, Klicka, large part of Pitt's Final Four appearances, All-American honorable mention last season, 255 digs. She's the kind of libero that you want to keep the ball away from.
And Elena Ogilvy of Stanford, long, solid, sets super well in transition. She's been impressive for Stanford for 4 years. I'd like to see her picked up. In Nalani Yosia from Michigan State. She's having a fantastic season. There are 3 Big Ten defensive awards already this season.
Oh, wow. That's really impressive. And another player, Kate Georgiadis from Houston. Fun fact about her, she has won a Libero of the Year in every conference that she's played in. So she's got 2 AAC Libero of the Year awards. And then last year she was Big 12 Libero of the Year. And she's on pace for being in the conversation for that again, leading the Big 12 in digs at 510. I mean, that is an insane number.
And she's famous for the viral video diving over the table to keep it alive. So not afraid to sacrifice her body for her team.
Or we could see Vegas Thrill. I mean, there's a lot of really good options out there.
Bilinovich out of Creighton has had a fantastic season. Eleanor Bevan from Kentucky. We haven't mentioned her. Ellie McKissick from Florida, another Libero who's fantastic. Solid passer, great defender, fantastic transition setter. So many incredible options.
And Vegas Thrill already has Cameron Hanna, drafted her in the first round, outside hitter. Love that pick from them. And Mary Schroll, a libero from Arizona State. So since they went with the libero in the previous round, I bet they'll call an audible. I bet they won't do that.
Good thought. But that's what we had on our original notes. So next thing, they wanted a backup middle.
Yep, because they feel good in the middle position. They've got Berkeley Oblad, Lane Van Buskirk, generational kind of players. Trammell's gone. Raven Colvin is gone. Corey Lewis is gone. You're going to have to dig deep, find yourself a good middle, or maybe they could go with that setter position. They haven't drafted a setter yet. Like to have some depth in that area, but Alicia Glass-Childress is the player that they built this team around. So we would see if they go with that direction.
There's still some talent in the middle. Kara Cressy, Layla Blackwell, Claire Jeter, Elise Getzinger, possibly, not sure if she has to finish school, Anna Dodson at UCLA, Sasha Ratcliffe at Ole Miss. Could be a sleeper, hitting almost 400 on the season.
Ooh, I remember her from last season. I called one of her games, and she was really impressive. Also really fun to watch. You've got about 20 seconds. Thrill coming down to it. I'm excited to see who they go with. Vegas, an amazing community for sports. Vegas really opened their arms to the Thrill. And Coach Fran Flory said that, I mean, people stop her, I mean, in public, which it's what the sport deserves. And even her Uber driver at one time said, "Oh, are you the coach of the Thrill?" So it's been a really good community for Vegas. Vegas, your time is up. Who do you pick? And the pick is not in. Got to stand by here. All right, the pick is in. Vegas Thrill. Who are you going with?
All right. So with me, I have some of the biggest fans from Vegas Thrill, and we're going to read this pick here. All right. With the 8th pick in the 3rd round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Vegas Thrill select Charity Looper from the University of Louisville. Woo! Let's go!
Hi, this is the beginning of round 4. With the first pick in the 4th round is Vegas Thrill. Announcing their pick is middle blocker Berkeley Oblad. Vegas, you're on the clock.
I love that selection. Charity Looper is a baller defensively. I think she cruised to a cool double-double against SMU when we called that game, and she makes really good reads. She's really fast. She's been such a leader for this Louisville team. And then look at the vertical. I mean, insane. Her head is above the net, and she's a little bit undersized, but she doesn't play like it.
Charity Looper started her career at UCLA, and one of my most favorite players to watch. She is dominant, and she made the move to Louisville. And I talk about her jump, 10'8". She is 5'9".
Wow.
I mean, incredible hops, and she plays up there. She doesn't let the ball drop. She is so fun and quick off the floor. Look at her get up, hammer that seam, and then defensively, when she's in the backcourt, she's able to just run everything down with her foot speed.
Yeah, and you love a player that can come out of the back row, hit from every single area of the court, because defensively, that's difficult to know. I mean, who's hitting, especially when you run such a balanced offense?
Well, how often do you see a Libero that's taller than an outside hitter? Never. But that's how talented Charity Looper is, just in terms of being dynamic. And when you're 5'9", a lot of times they're like, okay, you go play defense or go be the Libero, but not in Charity Looper's case. She is special.
All right, Vegas Thrill is back on the clock. Now, that's got to be a tough situation. You go in, you took a lot of time on that one. You got a great get in Charity Looper and outside. They already have an outside in Camera Hanna, who they drafted in round 1, and then Mary Schroll, great libero, in round 2. And you got Charity Looper. What position do you think they might go with in the 4th?
I think they're going to go middles.
Yeah.
I think they want to solidify their middle. Middles can sometimes get hurt, and you want to make sure you have backups, because that's an important position to set up your defense and your offense.
Yeah, they've got Berkeley Oblad, Lane Van Buskirk, Anoda Ade Kunle. Wanted to make sure I got that right, in the middle. So it would be interesting to see if they get more depth in that area. Could see them go opposite. They haven't drafted an opposite yet. They've got about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Lori Corbelli, the longtime coach at Texas A&M, is announcing the picks. Hall of Famer, volleyball player as well.
One of the reasons why Coach Fran Flory said they want to build their team around the athletes is because you look at the WNBA and how much those athletes, how far they took that sport. And this sport is just as much fun to watch. I mean, if you build it around...
It's more fun.
It's more fun.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say basketball, but no, you're right. I think it's more fun as well. But the athletes can take it to unprecedented heights, and we've seen that in the first season of PVF, and we see it in the NCAA across the college game. So I like highlighting these players because they could take it to where the WNBA is.
The more eyes on our sport, the better. And last year, covering PVF was so fun because I felt like the people in the stands, everybody appreciated the level of play, and it continues to get better. More eyes on the sport, more growth, and then we can build these stars, because these players are all stars that we're talking about, and so fun to watch, and have done the work to play at this level in this country.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What was one of your favorite moments of the first season of the Pro Volleyball Federation as we wait for Vegas's pick? Got about a minute.
Gosh, there were so many. I think playing for $1 million, that's a big deal. Playing for $1 million, that's a big deal for anybody, and it was a special moment.
I agree. And with that, the pick is in. Vegas Thrill, who you going with in round 4? Oh, it's muted. Oh, we can't hear you, Vegas, but I know it's, oh. I think I hear some clapping now. But we will go ahead and announce it. Vegas Thrill went with Morgan Stout. Hopefully we can get that mic unmuted, but really at Wichita State. So a little bit of a sleeper alert there.
I love a good surprise. Middle blocker, 6'1", Morgan Stout. She wasn't even on our list. They probably did that on purpose.
With the second pick in the 4th round, it's San Diego Mojo. Announcing for the Mojo is assistant coach Deetra Collins Parker. San Diego is on the clock.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Morgan Stout.
Well, she had a breakout year last year for Wichita State. We're doing some research because, and she's been phenomenal, trying to look at her stats for this year. But I think a lot of coaches were trying to keep players on the down low so as not to share the knowledge. Let's see, Stout hitting .319.
Nice.
3 kills per set.
Nice.
Yes. Good addition for them.
And last year, I mean, we had some sleepers in the draft. I meant not necessarily a sleeper, but Hannah Maddox, Jill Gillen, these players that come in and just are absolute superstars. So, I mean, anyone is viable. The talent is so high across the board. And now we're waiting for Mojo in their 4th round. Where do we think they're going to go with this one? So far, they have drafted Maya Tabron at SMU. Great outside hitter for SMU. They also have
Devin Robinson.
Devin Robinson in the 1st round. And that was one of those that we knew would go early. Really solid opposite, really tall opposite. So they got an opposite. They got an outside. We think they might go for a middle.
I do.
Round 4. She said that might be the direction that they go in. We still have Anna Dodson on the board. AVCA honorable mention, All-American, 3-time Pac-12 honoree, 2023, 2022, and 2021. You'll see her on your screen. Also has some USA Collegiate National Team experience over the past 2 summers.
Claire Jeter, who's putting up incredible offensive numbers all season long. I think she went 3 or 4 matches out of the middle with 0 errors. And anytime you're attacking out of the middle, it's a high percentage play. Sasha Ratliff out of Ole Miss, Layla Blackwell out of Nebraska. To me, she's a slam dunk. Kara Cressy out of Louisville as well. It's 6'6". She's got a fantastic arm, is well trained, and can help any of these teams in the middle.
And we talk about how hungry San Diego is. And it's because in the semis last season, they were up 2 sets and then got reverse swept. Nice come from behind. But it was by Omaha, who then went on to win the millions. So Coach Taiba Hanif Park, being the amazingly competitive person that she is, says that they are hungry. They did not forget that. They feel like a championship got taken from them. And so they're going to come into this season. And what's so much fun about a season 2 as opposed to a season 1, now there's parity. Now there's relationships between the teams. Now we have history to go off of, which can build these storylines. So I would expect season 2 to be even more exciting than season 1, if that's even imaginable.
And all of these athletes are great competitors and want to win the championship. And also the $1 million, of course. That's a nice little bonus. But these are athletes who want to establish that their team's the best, be that team to beat. And San Diego made a really big push halfway through the season and were impressive enough to get into that top 4 and almost get a chance at that $1 million in the final.
Yeah, and Coach Taiba Hanif Park said that San Diego community is great with professional volleyball, that everybody loves them. She loves the community. Also, it's a gorgeous place to live. So if you get drafted, good for you. That's a really beautiful place to live, on the beach, on the water.
Some of the best high school teams in the country are in San Diego, as well as club teams. So you see a lot of junior volleyball. So a lot of players who can look up to these athletes on the team and be inspired by them.
Let's go ahead and read off. You got a minute, San Diego. Let's see who they have there on their team so far until we get interrupted. We've got Raynell Jones, middle blocker, who was really, really good for them last year. Venegas, the Libero, she is so much fun to watch. She has so much fire, puts herself in really good positions, really quick twitch side to side. You got Kylie Cole, a setter who you really enjoy, who played at NC State. Veronica Stone, who they will run a lot of their offense through because she is so efficient. Kendra Dahlke, Anna Church, a libero. Lauren Harrison, Dayoung Lee, yes.
And here's a name we haven't talked about, Aluamo Akaro. Now she's married Djokovic. She played at Arizona State. She's been playing in the Philippines and in Greece. Dynamic scorer, long, good 6 rotation player, but she was an amazing indoor player at Arizona State. So they have her back in the States. That's going to be fun to see her playing for San Diego.
Reagan Pittman, middle blocker, played at Minnesota. Kayla Lund, outside hitter, 6 foot, 2 years of professional experience. She played at Pitt. So they've got a pretty stacked roster of superstars. I'd expect them to come out and make an impact, and they've done a really good job in the draft so far. San Diego, time is up. Pick us in. What you got?
With the second pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the San Diego Mojo select Layla Blackwell from the University of Nebraska.
With the 3rd pick in the 4th round, we have Atlanta Vibe. Picking for Atlanta, announcing for Atlanta will be Matt Edgar, 680 The Fan is his affiliation. Atlanta, you're on the clock.
Talk about Layla Blackwell. You called it. What do you like about her?
Oh, I love everything about her.
Uh-huh.
Her game is incredible. She's got size, strength, high volleyball IQ, really nice mindset, very coachable. I talked to Jalen Reyes, the assistant at Nebraska, and he said she is a joy to have on this team. She understands the game at a high level, physical, and she played 4 years at the University of San Diego, so it will be nice for her to be able to go back, play in that area. A huge fan base who loves Layla Blackwell there.
Let's take a look at some of her highlights. This is one of my favorite parts about anything because you get to see the true athleticism during these highlights.
Layla Blackwell in the middle. Big size, just shut down blocker in the middle, good laterally.
Ooh,
Gets
side to
one on the
side.
right, then the left.
Really nice finish, and it's really important for the middle to be fast, able to move, and there she is hitting from the right side. Nice pinky down, strong swing by her. That's a great get. And now Atlanta's on the clock, and you will notice that the time is sped up. In the first 2 rounds, teams had 8 minutes. Now in the last 3, they will have 5. So Atlanta, you've got 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Let's go ahead and talk about the players that they've already drafted. They've got Corey Lewis, middle blocker from Florida State. Beeson, one of the most highly coveted athletes in the draft.
Well, they need a setter.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked enough about setters. They need to take some of these incredibly talented setters off the board. Rachel Fairbanks is still on there. Cammie Minor has spring classes at Stanford. She probably will not be picked up because of that. We've only seen one setter go. Mia Tuaninga out of USC, one of the most creative, talented setters. Argentina Ung. She's running an incredibly fast offense at Arizona State. They've had an incredible season. Kendra Waite out of Creighton. And then Emma Grome out of Kentucky. She was the SEC Player of the Year 2 years ago. She can keep her team and system from way off the net. So, I mean, in terms of an undervalued position, I'm a little bit surprised that more setters haven't gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think people are looking for ways to score points. And sometimes they don't see how important the setter is, but setter is really important. I value you guys.
Speaking from a true setter herself, one of my favorite setters so far this season has been Argentina Ung. She came into the system at Arizona State and was used to a little slower offense, but she came in during the summer and knew, and coach did a great job at telling her, hey, this is a fast system. You got to get with it. And guess what? She got with it so quickly because she's so athletic. She's really coachable. And when you have a player that coachable, who also has only been a collegiate setter for 3 years. This is her 3rd year collegiate setting. She's played outside, she's played the back row, so she's kind of an all-around player, which is a style of play in the professional volleyball world.
Yeah, she's been really impressive. I'd love to see a setter get picked up right now, and Atlanta mentioned possibly going with a setter in this round.
The pick is in. Atlanta Vibe. Who are you going with?
With the 3rd pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Atlanta Vibe select Mia Tuaninga from the University of Southern California.
We're on to the 4th pick in the 4th round, and it is going to be done by Indy Ignite. Indy is on the clock.
All right, Holly, you've had a chance to call some of Mia's games. What do you like about her gameplay?
I love her intensity. She is a great competitor. I mean, we can make a highlight reel of her one-hand set. She's got very large hands, and she saves balls and just tees them up for her hitters in incredible locations. She's also really good at the pace, like really pushing the pace from all over the court. One of my really favorite creative setters to watch because she makes things happen when you're not sure they can.
Yeah, one of the things that all the coaches said about her is that she's fiery, she's passionate, she's a baller, and you love that attribute in a setter. Really nice, tough serve. Let's take a look at how she can distributes the ball.
Beautiful
Very
slide.
evenly.
Yeah, she's got strong hands. I've watched her since high school and just knows how to feed her hitters. And look at the pace to the left side. Block can't even get there, and not afraid to turn and joust at the net as well. But that's a juicy set right there from Tuaninga.
And one of the more imperative aspects of a setter's role is decision making. And she's a really good decision maker. She gets her players in one-on-one situations with the block. She does a really good job of distributing the ball evenly, and she's got really good court awareness. And then you see the fire right there in that video, just the woo. I love that. That's my favorite kind of player to watch.
Mia Tuaninga, if you watch her during a game, she's telling you where everybody is, what's happening. She's connecting with all the players on the court. Leadership is at the top of my list for her. She's really impressive.
And I think that she's going to be a great complement to Marley Monserrat over there in Atlanta. I'm excited to see how her energy and her enthusiasm meshes well with that already stacked of personality team. All right, Indy Ignite, you are on the clock. Indy Ignite in round 1 drafted Anna DeBeer. Louisville outside, really solid get by them. Who else they got? Elena Scott, Indy Ignite, Libero, who gets to stick with.
They got the Louisville connection.
Yeah, they do. And then Taylor Trammell, Indy Ignite, just skyrocketing through this draft. So who are you thinking they might go with in this round 4?
Well,
Maybe?
they talked about a Libero, but they already went there.
Mhm.
So you got to revisit what their original plan was and shift the positions.
You got a middle and outside.
Yeah.
And a Libero.
Possibly an opposite. Revisit that. They said opposite or maybe best available.
We've got Merritt Beeson gone in the first round.
Merritt Beeson, yes.
Emily Londot gone. A lot of good opposites. Nia Chimay gone. Those opposites were getting picked up really quickly, left and right. I'm excited to see how Indy Ignite meshes as a new team. They got some players from across the board from other teams. I believe they've got a couple from Orlando and a couple from all over the place. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the team meshes and now in their first season.
Coach George Pageant said, look, we want to bring players in who want to grind, want to work hard.
Mm-hmm. And Sydney Healy at the top of that list is going to be really integral for them, a really integral part of their team. She has just a wealth of experience. I mean, won a national championship, came in MVP of Omaha's championship winning team. She is just a true winner, and that's who you want leading your offense. So Indy Ignite, you've got about a minute and 20 seconds.
Wouldn't be surprised if they picked up a setter as well, just to back up Philly.
And there are a lot of good setters
Too many
left
good
on the
setters
board.
on the board. This is blowing my mind.
The pick is in. Let's see what they do. Indy Ignite, what you got?
With the 4th pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PBF draft, the Indy Ignite select Nina Chaich from the University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Let's go. With the 5th pick in the 4th round is the Grand Rapids Rise. Announcing their pick will be head coach Kathy George. Grand Rapids, you're on the clock.
We were talking about Chaich before this draft, and she got 42 kills in one match. I think that's the highest kill number I've seen so far this season.
Yeah, Nina Chaich is a high flyer. Bombs her serve. It's super explosive, little bit undersized, but she can jump and score, and that's what she does best. So if you need an arm that can score, she's the one. And great pickup for Indy. DeBeer, Scott, Taylor Trammell, and now Chaich.
Ooh, got some firepower with DeBeer, Chaich, along with their already existing players. That's going to be a fun team to watch. And you're right. If you get her going, she is the kind of player that can take off, and it doesn't matter how big the block is. She can find ways to score around the block. Let's take a look at some of her highlights. You see how she's an all-around, I'm not going to say stud, because I've said it a million times, baller from the service line, defensively, offensively, and then pinpointing that jump topspin. That jump topspin is going to be a weapon this season.
And she never lets up on that jump serve. It's all gas, no brakes. She can get up defensively and block. Shutdown blocker on the left, and we've seen her work magic for Tennessee this season.
She's got a lot of range too, which is something that you have to have if you're going to score around the block like this. Also swinging high and over, you can tell that one was deep to the corner. She said, boom, that was in. But the range, the versatility, the amount of manipulation that she has over the ball, every single swing is very impressive. She's going to do great things over there. And now the Rise, you are on the clock. Let's go over who the Rise has so far. They've got Raven Colvin, middle blocker, who I think every single team wanted. Then they have Nia Shmay, opposite. So they got middle blocker, opposite, and Cameron Turner, a setter. Think they may go outside? Libero?
Bro is what they talked about.
Okay.
Especially if they've got all...
Oh, it's a quick one.
Wow.
Pick is
Okay.
in. Who you got?
Of the fourth round of the 2024 PVF Draft, Grand Rapids Rise select Elena Ogilvie from the Stanford Cardinal.
With the 6th pick in the 4th round is the Omaha Supernovas. Their pick is being announced by Coach Bird. Omaha, you're on the clock.
So I just called Stanford's win over UNC. It was a pretty dominant win. And Ogilvie is one of those players that just stabilizes that serve receive line and does it in a very consistent, quiet manner.
She does. Elena Ogilvie is one of those players who, just steady, gets it done, not super flashy, but is incredibly talented, makes good reads, and makes it look easy. That's the most impressive thing about when you watch her play. Solid in serve receive. A lot of teams serve away from her because she's so good at that first contact.
352 digs on the season. She was two-time Pac-12 Libero of the Year. Well, now Stanford comes into the ACC, and she's been just as incredible. She grounds Stanford. She stabilizes them. She's great at the pancake. She makes those diving quick saves. Stanford has one of the most efficient offenses in the entire country, and you cannot have an efficient offense without having a libero who keeps the play alive and then pinpoints it right on the setter's hands.
And Ogilvie makes it look easy, slides under the ball, and then Cammie Minor steps in and works the rest of the magic for Stanford. But that combination has been incredible for Stanford all season long.
And you're right, she makes it look easy. She's very athletic, and you just cannot beat one of the top liberos in the country. Ogilvie going to the Rise. Next up, Omaha, you are on the clock. 3 minutes. Where are you feeling like Omaha might go in this 4th round?
I'm looking at who they've drafted. Anna Banjo, a middle, Emily Londotta opposite, Batenhorst and Krause, both left-siders.
Firepower.
So I'm thinking setter.
Yep. Still some really solid setters on the board.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Rachel Fairbanks, Celia Cullen, and
that's a quick one. It's in. What you got, Omaha?
With the 6th pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Omaha Supernovas pick Valerie Vasquez Gomez from the University of Pittsburgh.
We're on to the 7th pick of the 4th round, and it's the Orlando Valkyries. Announcing the pick is Hannah Pukas. Orlando, you are on the clock.
Valerie Vasquez Gomez.
Sleeper.
But
I don't know why. She's on one of the best teams in the country. 6th rotation player, big arm. One of the best outsides in the country. I mean, between her and Tori Stafford on that left side, that's a great pickup for Omaha.
And she knows how to win. And she's been a winner for a very long time. And what that means is that she's got the winner's mentality. So she's going to go into this Omaha team who historically is a winning team with the first season, and I think be a huge asset for them, confidence-wise, mentality-wise, and then skill level-wise, one of the most elite in the country.
I think if you're part of the Pitt volleyball program, you know how to work hard. There's a mindset every time they step in the gym, and Vasquez Gomez brings that. So yes, I think it's going to be an incredible addition to Omaha.
Stats on the season. She is at 183 kills, hitting at a 257 clip, which is very efficient, and 168 digs. So just all around superstar. She's got like a roundhouse swing. She swings really high. She's able to find those gaps in the block really well. And then she's got the range. She's got the versatility. She's got a lot of tools in her offensive toolbox, and she can bring out those tips when she sees the gaps, and she knows how to score. She knows how to win.
And she's in a gym every day with elite volleyball. So you're just going to continue to get better and better and get pushed.
All right, the Valkyries are on the clock. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So far, the Valkyries have gotten Nora Sis, outside hitter, who every team wanted. Natalie Foster, middle blocker, one of the quickest arms in the country. And Orlando's pick is in before I could even finish. Orlando, who do you want for round 4?
With the 7th pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Orlando Valkyries select opposite Anna Smrek from the University of Wisconsin.
With the 8th and final pick of the 4th round, it goes to the Columbus Fury. Announcing their pick is their captain, Megan Courtney Lush. Columbus is on the clock.
Orlando Valkyries out for blood with that pick. Smrek, extremely tall, very effective, swings at a really high point, accumulates a lot of points for that team, and is an absolute superstar.
Anna Smrek, I mean, incredible stopper defensively. Her blocking has improved tremendously. It's always been good. She's also versatile. She can play middle and opposite, but her high attack point in the range with which she's killing the ball has been really impressive. She's taken over matches. I had her against UCLA, and she literally took over the match. There was a little bit back and forth with UCLA after UCLA won the first set, and it was fun to watch. Smrek is a great competitor, and I think the ceiling's high. We've never seen her play back row. I'd like to see her serve. I'd like to see her attack out of the back row. Why not? I mean, she's got that type of physicality, great foot speed for someone at 6'9", and just good all-around game. Also saw her bump set a ball from the right pin to the left pin, perfect location. So she's got the all-around game.
And she will join Brittany Abercrombie over there on the right side. So talk about some depth. That is pretty much as much depth as you can get on the opposite position. Orlando Valkyries coach Amy Pauley told us she feels really good coming into the draft. Last year, she felt like she had a lot of holes to fill with the roster. But this year she comes in and now she's just placing people for depth. And that's what she did right there with that pick.
Well, that's what you want to do. Create depth at every position, and then they can compete for that starting spot.
Up next, we got Columbus Fury on the clock. You got 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Jen Spiker will be the one to deliver this next round. So far, the Columbus Fury, they have got a lot of players drafted. Where are you at?
Raina Terry.
Yep.
Kaylee Cox. Who's the last one? I think they're looking for an opposite. When we talked to them last week, they said opposite. Actually, it was this week. So looking for someone who can fill that right side position.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the opposites, there's still a bunch to choose from. Columbus Fury, let's go ahead and look at what they did last year. 8-16. Regular season finished tied for 5th. A couple teams tied for 5th there. Home court Nationwide Arena. Angel Perez is their coach. Key players, Megan Courtney Lush, Tori Stringer, who they got in a trade last season from Atlanta.
Nationwide Arena is a fantastic place to play. Really good crowds. I went there several times last year. Really fun. I think if we're still looking at opposites, Reagan Rutherford.
Yeah.
Still on the board. Jordan Iliff, Missouri, still on the board. Some really good players. Megan Wilson, Kentucky, Katie Ryan, Washington State, Natalie Glenn, Long Beach State.
And with that, the pick is in. What you got, Columbus Fury?
With the 8th pick in the 4th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Columbus Fury select Abby Walker from Cincinnati.
This is the beginning of the 5th and final round of the 2024 Pro Volleyball Federation Draft. The first pick in the 5th round is the Indy Ignite. Indy, you are on the clock.
Abby Walker was one of those sleepers that Coach Angel said he may go after. Cincinnati, she's 6'1", lengthy but fast, and that's how he described her. Named Freshman of the Year in the AAC, so she's been good for a really long time. 187 kills on the season, hitting .340 with 104 blocks. So she's good both ways, and I'm excited to see what she can do with this team. One of those little sleeper alerts.
Yeah, Abby Walker, quick laterally, but she's also played right side. So again, a player with versatility. She can play in the middle, defensively, laterally, like I said, quick, but also right side, strong right side blocker. One of those players who can have an impact, and we talked about an opposite. She could be that middle or opposite.
And those are good players to have on your team when you're building for depth. Wherever the hole may be, she could go in and plug it. Now, Indy Ignite has been selecting some fantastic players. And now they're up. They've got about 4 minutes left. What do you like the most from the way that Indy Ignite has approached this draft so far?
I mean, fire. Anna DeBeer,
yeah,
one of the best. Elena Scott, they get to stay together, which I love. Taylor Trammell, who's been just fierce offensively all season long for Penn State. And then Nina Chajic, a proven scorer at the opposite. They've had a really, really strong draft.
So they got a libero. They've got some firepower on the outside. Maybe we'll see a middle, an opposite. Now, at this point in the draft, you're looking for depth. You've kind of plugged in the pieces. You're looking for those players that are going to come in, make an impact, fill some holes, come in and get you 1 or 2 points, or just provide some support.
They haven't chosen a true opposite, so I'm looking for them to do that in this round.
Yeah, Reagan Rutherford, 195 kills on the season, lefty, whip of an arm, very difficult to block. 4 seasons at Kentucky.
And she's a player who can play 6 rotations. I've seen her hit out of the back row. I've seen her serve and play defense. Extremely long arms, really nice foot speed. I think she'd be an incredible addition to any of these teams.
You got 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Indy Ignite on the clock. Indy Ignite, some quick facts from them. This is their first season. They're the newest member, and the newest member has a pick. Indy Ignite, who do you want?
With the first pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Indy Ignite select Isabella Martin from the University of Florida.
With the second selection in the 5th round of the draft, the San Diego Mojo, you are on the clock. Announcing the pick today is head coach Taiba Hanif Park.
Izzy Martin, I'm going to say it. She's a stud. She is really powerful. That one is deserved. She's really powerful, really nice 6 rotation player, very experienced. This is her 5th year. She comes into a UF team and makes an immediate impact. She can score at a really high clip, has a really fast arm swing. She's a good get for them.
Izzy Martin has done the work. She went to Florida with the mindset that she had to elevate her game in order to be a pro. Now she gets the opportunity. Dream come true for her. Great arm, really powerful on that left side, and has really done the work every day, mindful in the gym. And Mary Wise, the head coach for Florida, couldn't say enough good things about her.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes to come into a really stacked and talented UF team and make an immediate impact. She has made her presence known in the SEC. Let's go ahead and check out some highlights. Look at that high hand contact. She swings at a really high point over the net. She's quick in transition. She can get a pass, get off the net, go back and score. She got a lot of range. You see her there driving it down the line. She can hit that nice, sharp swing, and then really solid defensively as well. Nice reads.
Yeah, Izzy Martin has been a great addition to Florida, and she will definitely help Indy as well at the pro level.
She has started in all 25 matches as Florida's outside hitter. Season high 19 kills versus South Florida, so she can score in bunches. Really good get for them. All right, San Diego Mojo, you are on the clock. You've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds. San Diego Mojo in the first round drafted the stud, Devin Robinson. Emily Londa went to Omaha, so no, not for San Diego Mojo. They also got Tabron, yep.
And Layla Blackwell.
And Layla Blackwell. Where do you think they might go with this one?
They said best on the board,
Yeah.
so could be a setter. Reagan Rutherford's still on the board, so I think a player like that would be a steal. But too many good setters still on the board. I would think somebody would grab him this round.
Coach Taiba Hanif Park kind of formed her team around Veronica Stone, who's a generational kind of player in the Pro Volleyball Federation. Venegas, the Libero, who's really fun to watch. Dalkey. They've got a list of solid athletes over there at the Mojo. Last season, they finished 13-12. We talked about how amazing it was that they flipped their season around, had a slower start, and then Coach Taiba Hanif Park doing everything that she does was an incredible leader for this team. They came back, made it all the way to the semis, finished third, and they are looking to avenge that reverse sweep from last season.
I think San Diego's going to do some special things. I think Taiba Hanif Park, she established her culture. This is a team that now knows who they are and what they're about, and they've got a ton of talent and depth at the setting spot. So I'm looking at the board. I mean, not sure where they can go, possibly an opposite. Taiba Hanif Park and Deetra Collins, the coaching staff for the San Diego team, really complement each other. Pick is in.
The pick is in. What you got, San Diego?
With the second pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, San Diego Mojo selects Elise McGee from Baylor University.
With the 3rd pick in the 5th round, the Vegas Thrill are on the clock. Announcing the pick will be middle blocker Lane Van Buskirk.
Elise McGee is one of those players that a lot of coaches mentioned because she can score in bunches, really talented, nice solid arm swing. I think that's a great get for them.
Elise McGee at Baylor has been that 6th rotation player on the left side, but she's also versatile enough to play on the right side. Nice size, 6'3", big, powerful arm. And I think a lot of these coaches like that versatility. If they need to plug in places in their lineup due to injury or somebody struggling, to have that versatility to put those players in. I think players, according to watching what has been drafted, that seems like a high importance to them.
Exactly. A 6th rotation athlete is very much so desired in this league. Let's take a look at some of her highlights. The vertical from all of these players is really impressive. She uses all of that momentum in her approach to rise up, swing nice and high, and she's good defensively. That block straight down, very disciplined, very technically sound on the block. She's got a lot of size and a lot of physicality.
Yeah, physicality translates really well to the professional level. So Elise McGee brings that in coming from the college level. She's physical and can match up against these pros who have got that strength and that explosive power.
Season high 30 kills versus TCU October 25th. Any player that can come into a match and get 30 kills is a player that deserves to be drafted. So congratulations, Elise McGee. That is very, very well deserved. All right, Vegas Thrill is on the clock. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Where are we feeling like they might want to head?
It's getting more difficult to predict.
It really is.
You know, it says solidify setting, opposites. Those are both areas that they talk to us about. I'd like to see them go there, but we'll see.
Vegas Thrill got Morgan Stout, a middle blocker in the 4th round. Charity Looper 6th rotation outside hitter, really solid defensively in the 3rd round. Mary Schroll, Libero for Arizona State, really solid defensively in the 2nd round. Really good ball control team so far is what I'm noticing from this draft. And we can't talk about the Vegas Thrill without talking about Alicia Glass-Childress. She won Inspirational Player of the Year, and there's really no question why. She's a phenomenal person. She's a phenomenal mom. She's just an all-around superstar.
Well, an inspiration to balance being a professional athlete, motherhood, and then also lead your team. Not easy to do, but she does it with so much grace.
She leads the team with experience, with expertise, and you're right. It's really difficult to juggle many things, but she does it at such a high level. She's a wonderful mom. She's a professional athlete. I cannot imagine the load that you have to carry to be so good at both of those things and many others. So it's really impressive what she does. And she leads this team. She's the center point, and they went around and drafted and molded this team around her, and there is no question why.
Well, you think about being a mom, you have to be selfless.
Yeah.
But as a professional athlete, you have to be focused on you and taking care of your body and getting the extra time in the gym and lifting and all those things. So hard to meld both of those together, but Alicia Glass-Childress does it perfectly.
All right, Vegas Thrill. You've got about a minute and a half, and their pick is in. Vegas, what do you want to go with? We're excited. Oh, we lost the Vegas feed. Man.
Text us your pick.
We both leaned forward. We were on the
we're like, tell us.
on the edge of our seat. Okay, well, we'll definitely get that pick back from them soon. We're going to go ahead and send it to Jen Spiker.
The Vegas pick is in. They have picked Lauren Jardine, Utah. With the 4th pick, the Columbus Fury is on the clock. Head coach Angel Perez will be making the selection.
Lauren Jardine was another one of those players that we heard a couple coaches mentioned. A little bit of a sleeper alert, but a really solid all-around athlete. I love this decision from them. Lauren Jardine, congratulations. This was really, really well-deserved.
Lauren Jardine started her career at Wisconsin and now at Utah, having a big impact for Beth Lanier and her Utah program. They've had a really strong season, and because of her, 6 rotations, taking care of that first contact, which really helps facilitate the offense for your team.
Yeah, definitely. And then she can score at a really high clip. So we see this common thread, all-around athletes, 6 rotation athletes. There's less subs, so you really want to have all those players in and being able to fill every position, no matter if you're in the front or the back.
Yes, and that first contact for any team you're on is just valued. I mean, you look at a player like Lindsay Vanderweide, who played at San Diego last year. Her first contact is nails, and she comes in and she can spark any team, and then she can score as well. So those are the types of players that are valued, and Lauren Jardine doing that for Utah.
Columbus Fury is on the clock. They did not have a first-round pick. Second-round pick, they got a gem, an absolute gem in Raina Terry. I mean, who just is an absolute leader on her team. She accumulates a lot of points. They also have Kaylee Cox, an outside. So some good outsides there. And they've just been building from there. So 3 minutes and 30 seconds. What area do we feel like they are not lacking in, but maybe could use a little bit more depth in as we are moving into the end of this draft?
They talked about important players who could come step into a role and battle for those starting spots. So someone who's not afraid to work, has a chip on their shoulder, and they talked about possibly Julia Cardona, who's the daughter of the assistant coach Carlos, who's been a big scorer all season long. A player like that who can just bring energy into the gym and compete every day.
Yeah, I like what he said in regards to that. A player that can come in, it's difficult to come in and make a quick impact, but he wants a player that can come in, strike an easy ace, get a block, just fill a gap when they need, and accumulate a couple points here and there for this team. So we've seen him go with some sleepers. We've seen him take some big names. I'll be interested to see where he goes with this one.
And Julia Cardona's been playing at Evansville. She had 37 kills in one match. She's 5'11", out of Argentina. She's a player that if you look in the stats every weekend across the country, she's in there for kills. So proven scorer, she could be a sleeper. But there's so many players. AC Fitzpatrick out of Florida, solid all around, big jump serve, great team player. I mean, the list is long.
Yeah, Julia Gardenia currently leading the NCAA D1 in kills on the season. And the D1 level is so elite. To lead D1 is really impressive. In 2023, she also led NCAA D1. So year in, year out, she's fantastic. She also leads the NCAA in points per set and total points, and she did that last year as well. So that's a sleeper that statistically is not really a sleeper. She's got a bright future no matter where she goes to play.
True. Tamara Otenay still on the board, Mabry Shaftmaster out of North Carolina, Jalen Hodge out of Arizona. So still a lot of players who can play 6 rotations and score available.
Columbus Fury, you've got a minute and 20 seconds. Columbus Fury, quick facts, 8-16 last season. They tied for 5th. A couple teams went 8-16, led by Angel Perez, play a nationwide arena. Have you visited that arena before?
I have. I was there a couple times.
How was it?
Great environment, really nice crowds, a lot of support in the community.
And what that means is that PVF is just going to continue to grow. Columbus Fury is going to continue to gain more followers and more support. So Columbus keeps showing up. And Columbus Fury has called a timeout. So they get an extra 3 minutes. And I don't blame you. It's coming down to it. This is a big decision. Only a couple more picks. Take your time, Columbus Fury. You've got an extra 3 minutes.
It's been a big day, though. Yeah. Starting with the big trade at the beginning, Merritt Beason as the top choice, and then Anna DeBeer going second. So much talent coming out of the collegiate game that's just going to add to the athleticism, the personalities, just everything about the Pro Volleyball Federation.
And let's go ahead and talk about the Columbus Fury current roster while they continue to pick. Paula Sarame is a libero. She played at Indiana. She's one of those players, she played at Orlando last season, so I got to watch a lot of her games. She's one of those players that will get put in, go back to the service line, jump topspin, rip 3 aces in a row, get the team back in, and then get subbed out, or make a massive dig and then stay in and continue to keep the ball alive for her team. So she's one of those players that I think is going to make a massive impact on this Columbus Fury team.
And if you look at the setting spot, Wilma Rivera, undersized setter, so dynamic and quick. She's played a lot last season. And then Tori Stringer out of Louisville, getting traded to this team, and she is an elite setter. So they are very strong at that position, and they've got the weapons on the pins too. If you look at Jill Gillen, Megan Courtney Lush, who had her daughter a year and a half ago and is now like in great shape and ready to have the best season.
Yeah, Megan Courtney Lush with 10 years of experience, and then some players with less experience in Paula Sarame, Jill Gillen, who is one of my favorite players because I love those undersized that are really springy. You have to have a kind of dog mentality if you're an undersized attacker in this league, and she does have that. She takes these big, brave swings, and she can get a lot of points for this team. Janice Liao, Morgan Lewis, they're already stacked, and they've done a great job in the draft so far. They've got about a minute and 45 seconds.
I love that these teams are being so thoughtful about how they draft.
Yes.
Because you want to create a good environment, good culture, players who are all in the team aspect of the game.
And this is their last pick. So this is a very important pick. After them, after Columbus Fury, we have Omaha Supernovas, Atlanta Vibe, Orlando Valkyries, and Grand Rapids Rise. So it's coming down to it. So take your time. You've got a minute and 15 seconds, so don't take too much time. And I'll be looking forward to see who is their last pick. Round 5, let's take a look at the order. Indy Ignite, San Diego Mojo, Vegas Thrill, Columbus Fury currently picking now. Omaha Supernovas will go after. Atlanta Vibe 6th, Orlando Valkyries 7th, and Grand Rapids Rise, you get the honor of picking last. 50 seconds.
Angel Perez told us role players are important, so I'm guessing they're.
And the pick is in. Did you get your role player? Let's see. Columbus Fury, who do you have?
With the 4th pick in the 5th round of the PBF Draft 2024, the Columbus Fury select Kate Georgiadis from the University of Houston. Whoa!
With the 5th pick in the 5th round, the Omaha Supernovas are now on the clock. Coach Laura Bird-Kuhn will be making the announcement.
I love that pick. Kate Georgiadis is a baller. She has won Libero of the Year in every conference that she's played in. 2-time AAC Libero of the Year, 2023 Big 12 Libero of the Year, leading the Big 12 in digs.
Yeah, if you're playing defense next to Kate Georgiadis, you better play. You better show up ready to play, all-out effort every time, and I think that's really contagious. It sets the tone for your defense in the backcourt, and I love that pick. Great, important role player, and somebody who you're going to need to win games.
Really good at reading on defense. She's had a couple matches where she's had over 30 digs, and I mean, that just means that you are so locked in. Crazy stat numbers. I mean, 510 digs on the season, and the season's not done. So all of these stats that I've been reading out, these players are just going to continue to add to it. Let's take a look at some of her highlights. You see how fast she really is. Reading the tip, diving in, laying out for it, and then putting herself in the right position to make digs as well.
You want someone like Kate Georgiadis on your team, and you see the respect from her teammates. We talk about Hentzville. Kate Georgiadis is like that, owning that left side of the court and relentless in the effort.
Hentzville and Georgiadis Town and Mary Schroll Village.
Okay.
We'll just keep going with it.
I like it.
All right, Omaha Supernovas, you are on the clock. This is your last pick. Let's go ahead and talk about who Omaha Supernovas have so far. Never mind, the pick is in. That was a little quick. Who you got, Omaha Supernovas?
Hey, I got you guys. We were ready. With the 5th pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the Omaha Supernovas pick Kendra Waite from Creighton University.
Woo! With the 6th pick in round 5, the Atlanta Vibe are on the clock. Announcing the pick will be head coach Kayla Banworth.
Cameron Waite leads one of the most efficient offenses in the country. And I think that that is a fantastic pick because she is so elite at this position, leading them really well, nice, balanced, very precise with her setting. She's elite.
Kendra Waite for Creighton, 27-2 on the season. Her team is hitting .327. That's one of the best offensive outputs as a team in the country, and I think that's a fantastic pick, someone with incredible experience. And notice the theme. Creighton is in Omaha, and all those players have a tie to Omaha for the most part. So good pickup for them.
Bird knows what she's doing.
She does.
She's one of my favorite people to talk to. Let's look at some highlights. Let's look at how well she balances out this Creighton team.
She can do it from the service line, good pressure, not afraid to go up and bang the ball on the overpass, good athlete.
Gets her feet to the ball really nicely, squares her hips. I mean, you can tell she's been a good setter for a very long time. Also really solid on the block.
Yeah, really fun to watch and fantastic pickup for Omaha.
Yeah. All right, next up, we've got Atlanta Vibe with your last pick. What position do we feel like Atlanta Vibe still needs? Let's go ahead and talk about who they have so far. And never mind, the pick is in. These people are quick with it. Atlanta Vibe, who do you want?
With the 6th pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PBF Draft, the Atlanta Vibe select Bianca Bertolino from Georgia Tech.
With the 7th pick in the 5th round, the Orlando Valkyries are on the clock. Announcing the pick is outside hitter Solimar Sestero Cruz.
Bianca Bertolino is one of those stars for Georgia Tech for sure. She's got a really smooth arm swing. She scores in high numbers. She's got a lot of passion. She's really fun to watch.
Every time I think of Bianca Bertolino, I think of elite server, elite passer. She's in the Atlanta area because she's at Georgia Tech, and she can also score. But her first contact and her serve are those things that stand out the most to me. And every team needs somebody who can put pressure from the service line and who can deliver that first contact.
Yeah, nasty jump topspin from her. 2023 AVCA All-American Honorable Mention, 2023 VB Magazine All-American Honorable Mention. A lot of power behind the service line. You want a player like that that can get back there and rip some aces, especially with how much ball control is in the Pro Volleyball Federation and how elite these serve-receive lines are. You need someone who can cause some chaos in that back line. She is definitely that player for them. Next up, we've got Orlando Valkyries. You are on the clock with your last pick. You've got 4 minutes. What do you like about how the Valkyries have approached this draft so far?
Orlando's done a really nice job. Nora Sis, Natalie Foster, Lydia Grote. They talked about possibly getting a bro or a strong utility player like a Kat Flood out of Pittsburgh.
Went with Anna Schmreck last round. Couple ways that they could play this. They could just get depth in a position that they already feel comfortable in, or they could go in with a role player, maybe a player that they feel like could come in and push their team to do well. Looking to try and sign 2-year contracts is what Coach Amy Pauley told us. So getting these players, making this team really gel, having them for an extended amount of time to really get the chemistry going with the team is an emphasis of hers in this draft. And this is a team that has a lot of potential. They're returning a good amount of their production. Their offensive production, a lot of people are returning for them. So it'll be interesting to see how the newcomers come in, how they make an impact. And it's going to be tough to start for all of these teams because just the depth is so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked to Amy Pauley, she talked about needing another bro just to strengthen things up, or a really strong utility player, somebody who could come in and be able to plug in at different positions. So they've tons of size, tons of scoring power so far in the draft. I'd love to see Emmy Klicka or Nalani Osia from Michigan State possibly picked up as a bro.
I would like to see a bro go as well. You're right. They've got a lot of firepower, adding to the already very firepower offense of Adora Anai, Kaz Brown. I mean, a lot of their attackers are firepower. So a bro, someone in the back row, maybe a role player. We will see. But this is their last pick. They've got 2 minutes left, and then we only have a couple picks left. So thank you for sticking with us. After this, we've got Atlanta Vibe. No, Atlanta Vibe's done. We got one more pick after this. Man, it's gone by fast. Grand Rapids Rise will have the last pick, the 40th pick of the draft. The Valkyries have about 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Orlando very strong at the setting position. They've got Shampoo, who's the Thai national setter and captain, and Hannah Pukas, one of my favorite setters to watch, just dynamic, runs it really fast, and her location is fantastic. And she's healthy this year, so I look for her to have a big impact on this team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they run the 6-2 or the 5-1. I mean, with all the depth that's in all the positions, it'll be interesting to see which way they go. But they've got some time. The season's a little bit away. But yeah, no, definitely looking forward to that setting position. We've got experience and we've got the more newness of that setter. We've got 1 minute left, and Orlando does not have a timeout. So they got about 1 minute. A sleeper, yeah.
Yeah, Addition Financial Arena where they play. You've been there a lot. Tell us about it.
One of the best things about Addition Financial Arena is how many young girls come to it, because OVA is a big club in Orlando and Disney's there. And so for some reason, there's a lot of young girls that come to every single game. So it's almost hard to hear because of all the high-pitched squealing. But that's why I love it so much, because those players can come, see exactly a path that they could take to be professional athletes. They look up to these players. Kaz Brown, the middle blocker for Orlando, reigning middle blocker of the year, has space buns. And so we see a lot of the younger girls come to the games with space buns, and they make signs. So it's a really inspirational place to play as well, because of all those younger girls coming and watching. And the pick is in. 10 seconds left. Orlando Valkyries, who do you have?
With the 7th pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Orlando Valkyries select Nani Iosia from the Michigan State University.
With the final selection in the 2024 Pro Volleyball Federation Draft, the Grand Rapids Rise is on the clock. Announcing the pick this afternoon is Rachel Ruiz, host of 8 West, Wood TV 8 in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right, Holly, what do you like about that pick?
Nani Iosia, she started her career at Texas and then went to Michigan State. She is elite. First contact, nails. I mean, every team needs that. Relentless defensively. I've seen her grow up through high school. I saw her playing in high school. And she has always been one of those players, high volleyball IQ, fantastic transition setter. I mean, that's an incredible pickup at that position, especially this late.
Yep, she's a 3-time team captain. She has a season high 34 digs earlier this month, so she can get a lot of digs, and she'll join Georgia Murphy in that Libero DS position, and I think be really, really good for stabilizing them, keeping those plays alive.
Big Ten, one of the most competitive conferences in the country. She's won 3 Best Defensive Players of the Week awards already this season.
She has 479 digs on the season, and her hitting efficiency is 583, but that's because she's making these crazy plays and digging the ball over and getting killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
so she's actually,
good for her.
She's gotten 16 dig kills this season.
Wow.
So maybe put her on the outside. I don't know. We're waiting on the last pick. Grand Rapids Rise, you are on the clock. You've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's check out who they have drafted so far. Raven Colvin, middle blocker. Everybody wanted her. We also have
Naya Shimei from SMU.
Yep. Jumper and thumper.
Yep. Cameron Turner, setter.
Elena Ogilvie. And the pick is in the last pick of the draft. Rise, what do you have?
With the 8th pick in the 5th round of the 2024 PVF Draft, the Grand Rapids Rise select Jess Merzick of Penn State University.
Jess Merzick is an All-American, well over 400 kills on the season, almost 2,000 in her career. She's a baller.
Oh, I mean, I cannot say enough about Jess Merzick. She's one of those players who can have a huge impact. 6 rotations, team player, can score at a high clip, and like one of those players that you want on your team battling for a starting spot, especially at this pro level.
Good ball control, lightning fast arm swing. Penn State runs through her a lot. She can take the load that she has to take in that position, and she does so really, really well. Let's check out some of her highlights. From the service line, she's got a nice aggressive serve. From the attacking position, quick arm swing. From the block position, good read blocker. Saw that tip, hangs in the air, presses it, and look at that reach. Really long arms and uses all of it every single time she approaches to swing or plays defense.
Jess Merzick is elite in every part of the game, high volleyball IQ, and she's really integral into Penn State's success this year, and they're one of the best teams in the country, in the top 5.
And with that, we are done. Thank you so much for joining us. That was an absolute blast. I think the talent in PVF this season is just going to continue to rise. What was one of your favorite picks that has happened?
I mean, you have to talk about the excitement of the trade pick right at the beginning of the show. And Atlanta going after Merritt Beason. Merritt Beason is a special player. Just incredible team player, incredible leader, worker, mindful of every rep, you can tell everything is put into it. So I thought that was really exciting. And then I love Anna DeBeer going to Indy. I mean, she has been such a fun player to follow throughout her collegiate career. I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and I love that Anna DeBeer and Elena Scott are both going to Indy, keeping Louisville going to that location. And we just have to highlight Merritt Beason, well-deserved first-round draft pick of the 2nd draft for PVF. Make sure you're going to want to tune in for this 2nd season of PVF. It's going to be very exciting. You're going to want to tune in for the first game, and then you're going to want to tune in for the championship. We have a long slate all across national television, so make sure to look up the schedule and tune in so you can see all of these stud athletes.
You said it again.
Yeah, I know. I did that last one on purpose.
No, I think the draft really helped just strengthen the PVF. It was fantastic last year. It's going to be that much better this year with all these young, very talented stars coming out of the collegiate game.
All right, and with that, we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to see you in season. PVF Season 2 is coming your way.